us at Southern Tire Mart. Southern Tire Mart's expert service, competitive pricing, and top quality tires will ensure your vehicle is ready for all your summer adventures. Visit us in Fort Smith at 9700 Highway 271 and let us ensure your vehicle is prepared for the summer. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. Southern Tire Mart. We keep America rolling.
The Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Online and on the air and now everywhere you go. Tune in to the greatest moments of Razorback sports with Chuck Barrett, Bo Mattingly, Tommy Kraft, Ty Richardson, Phil Elson, Matt Jones, and Ruskin and Zach with our Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Stay connected no matter where you go with the Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Download for free in the Apple app or Google Play stores. Just search Hit That Line Now. It's fueled by Taco Bell. ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, plenty of sunshine. A high this afternoon will really heat up all the way into the middle 90s. Mainly clear sky, upper 60s overnight, and then Saturday, sunny skies, a high in the low to mid 90s. Sunday, partly sunny, low to mid 90s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
You're listening to ESPN 95.3.
Good pick, good pick.
KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
The drinking all day.
Coming to
watches it get out of here. Gellco sets and deals. He struck him out swinging. And this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
Football Friday and the day before the first Arkansas Conference football game since the Battle Line rivalry last year. And, man, this is just going to be a huge game tomorrow on a big SEC weekend, big college football weekend, and great to be with everybody today. Phil Elson in Forest City. This has sort of become a home away from home of sorts whenever I'm headed out towards Ole Miss. The folks at KXJK and KBFC, they're also on the Razorback Radio Network, have been kind enough to open up the doors of their radio studios for, I think this is the third time in the last 4 years, to kind of cut the drive down to Oxford a little bit. Well, not Oxford, headed to Tupelo where the team is staying. And Matt Jones is at Gellco Outdoors in Fort Smith today. So, Matt, we are far flung. And yesterday we were sitting next to each other in the ESPN Experience in Fayetteville at Walmart on Mall Avenue. And I am nowhere near you today. We are on opposite ends of the state.
It's very true, but it's game week. It's almost like Christmas morning right here, ready for your first conference game. Get to go down and take on the Rebels, who are, if you look at it, since there's only been one SEC game played, the Rebels are currently in first place.
How about that? I love it. I forget who it was on SEC Network. If the season ended today, then the Ole Miss Rebels would actually have been, well, he was joking about it, Christian. I mean, it wasn't like he was saying this with a straight face, but they actually wouldn't have an opponent. If you think about it, they wouldn't have an opponent in the SEC championship game, because how can you have tiebreakers with the other 15 teams all 0-0? But, yeah, we don't have to worry about any of that, because we'll have, 5 or 6 conference games tomorrow? Big ones, all of them. every SEC game's a big one, and does it feel different? Leading into after playing against Alabama A&M and wiping the field with them basically after their first drive, and then doing the same thing to Arkansas State for about basically all 4 quarters, and a little bit of a step up in competition. It looks to me, Matt, like this team's had no trouble to get up for the team that they're facing. Shouldn't have any trouble, especially getting on the plane today. And then, as you described, you want that drive into Oxford to see what the atmosphere is. You head in, certainly for a night game, that atmosphere is going to be, I don't know if it's close to 11 by the time they're rolling in, but it'll be right there near it. Does it feel different when you're going to an SEC game? And obviously, it's going to feel different on the road.
Yes, absolutely. They'll be ready to go. The first game's always the one where you're a little more anxious for. Road team, road game, and after the butt whooping they took last year, you kind of think they'll be ready, and then you have all the coaches speak, Lane saying, "Oh, some of these kids we get from other schools, they've been really well coached." Just the whole point of it. I think this Arkansas team's going to be ready to go. I don't know if we'll score 28 points in the first quarter, but I think they're going to start off fast. I could see the Hogs getting to 14 somewhere in that first quarter, second quarter before halftime, maybe even 17.
Yeah, hopefully by then Ole Miss isn't at 21 or 28, which they were basically at 20 minutes into last year's game. And you remember last year, you were going in November hoping that what you saw at Mississippi State wasn't a mirage, where the Hog offense just was up and down the field at Davis Wade, and I think it was 5 touchdown passes by Talon in that game. The Hog defense got 5 turnovers against Mississippi State. And you remember, it was the next week. You got 3 straight games at home, Ole Miss, then a bye, and then Texas, and then Louisiana Tech. And they just couldn't stop Ole Miss at all. And it was evident from the very start of that game that what you saw against Mississippi State had more to do with the fact that Mississippi State was a bad football team last year, and that the Razorbacks just did not perform well against the really good teams in the SEC. I was going to say the really good offenses, and that's why it's like against Texas last year, especially after the performance against Ole Miss. It did, to me, a little bit kind of come out of nowhere. But I do we think after what we've seen for these 2 weeks, it's a better offense. And I think the jury's going to be out about the defense until by the time this game's all said. Heck, it's the same thing with the offense. It's just, it seems like we're trusting our eyes about the offense, Matt, and we're kind of trusting until the end of this Ole Miss game to trust our eyes about the defense.
Well, my eyes tell me this offensive line's better. Now that of course they're better going against the 2 teams we went against, and there's going to be some players that are going to play on Sunday on this Ole Miss defense, and I think Carmona. And there's a couple offensive linemen that are going to get a chance to play on Sunday. So, hey, what a way to get it going, to ring the bell and start conference play up. I always say, I had coaches tell us, during camp, starting in the 8th grade, 7th, whatever. Hey, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. It's not going to be an easy feat. It's going to take the whole team to go down there and get a victory. It's going to be tough work, and most games are, Phil. Most games come down to the fourth quarter. Most games come down to, hey, it's a 1 or 2 possession game going into the fourth quarter. Can you make a couple plays? Can the ball bounce your way a little bit? I'm interested to see. I know Coach Pittman said which team runs the ball better, has the most rushing yards, wins the game. I think it might be which team causes the most turnovers. Which team can get an extra possession? Can we turn them over 2 or 3 times? And depending on where it is in the field, can you protect the ball at all cost? We need a 0 turnover game, and then you can't have untimely penalties. There's nothing that'll kill a drive than a holding call on a big run, or a pass interference, or roughing the passer when you get off the field on 3rd down. So there's a lot to go about it, and hopefully the ball will bounce our way a little bit.
The line's moving towards Arkansas continuously, man. It's even half a point lower than it was by the time we went to sleep last night. 6.5 point edge is what Ole Miss is getting. I started, I think, at 8 or 8.5. So, this is it's really interesting because that has nothing to do right now with any injuries on Ole Miss, because Austin Simmons is not on the injury list at all. So all that talk about Trinidad Chambliss, the backup quarterback, the Division II champion that is now at Ole Miss, we may not see him. Or if we do see him, you may see him in just a package or two. It's just interesting about Simmons that, the injury looked like it might be the kind of thing that takes a while to recover from, but then those ankles, you never quite know. You never quite know with ankles. I would imagine that there's nothing quite like an ankle to make it look like it's going to be a debilitating injury, and then 4 or 5 days later, it's fine. And that seems to be what's happening with Simmons, because he's not on the list. He's not on the injury list at all.
And that's what it is. It's his ankle. I didn't see what had happened. I know Todd brought it up on the last post game show we did. But so the benefit of wearing cleats and not being a basketball player, Phil, is you can tape that ankle up underneath your cleat, and then you can spat over the top of it. So it's just like it really does. It helps let's just say an extra 8%. So let's say your ankle's at 65%, then you tape it and it goes to 85%. Then you're able to tape the outside of it. The other thing, though, is his straight line speed to be fine. It's if he tries to get a little wiggle, like you want to try to flush him out. If he tries to get any type of wiggle, that's the thing that can cause some discomfort. But as far as being able to spat it and tape it twice, he should be okay.
So when you say you spat the ankle, what is it exactly? Does that mean you tell me what that means?
So you tape your ankle, right? With your bare ankle. You tape it. Then you put your sock on. Then you put your cleat on, and then you tape over the outside of your cleat. So that's an extra 5-7%.
I just hadn't heard the term spat before. I thought it almost made it sound like you're going to paper mache the ankle.
Jalen Carter.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I thought it was Jalen Carter was here. Yeah.
So yeah, and so that makes you think you can you get to him. It's going to be a little more difficult to bring him down, but there are a couple of injuries. Injuries, just guys on the Arkansas injury report that you're hoping could get after him. Oki's still on there as questionable, so that makes me wonder if he's really been able to practice much this week. And Quincy Rhodes Jr. has been listed as questionable. And Rhodes, I'd say out of any of the pass rushers that are homegrown, he's the one I like Philip Lee.
He's looked the best.
I think Lee looks really good, but Rhodes already 3 tackles for a loss. They're all sacks in 2 games. And seems to me that if there's the one position group that doesn't quite have the depth that we're thinking some of the other positions do, it's defensive line. And you already knew you were down Oki last week, hoping you get him back this week. We don't know if Rhodes is available or how good he'll be or how healthy he'll be when the game starts. So certainly on the injury report, the only ones for Ole Miss is a wide receiver in Traylon Ray that I don't think they count on too much, and Jalen Braxton's questionable. That's it. Arkansas lost Monte Harrison for maybe the season. Antonio Jordan's out again. There was all that talk about Jordan from fall camp, and now you don't hear anything because I don't think he's practiced at all in the last 2-3 weeks. So Ole Miss is the healthier team, at least looking at the injury report. And that's where we start today on halftime on a Friday where we're kind of jumping around since Matt and I are on almost literally opposite ends of the state. You're a little closer to the Oklahoma border than I am to the Mississippi and Tennessee border.
Are you Biggie Smalls or Tupac? That's it's East West. It's East Coast, West Coast. I don't know Biggie or Tupac.
I'd have to be Biggie because I'm on the East Coast.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. We'll have to find a way to meet in the middle, and I don't know, Kansas City or Little Rock would be the middle. But it didn't end well for either of those guys, Matt. I hope it ends a lot better for you and me.
Well, we'll get C Music over here. We got the first hour of songs going. We'll try to get some Biggie and some Tupac here in the second hour.
All right, that sounds good.
If the FDA allow it.
Yeah, back there in studio sounds like Ed McMahon is really fired up about some Biggie Smalls. All right, so we're gonna have Clay Henry on a few times today. Clay joins us at 12:15 and then at 1:30. We'll have him on the phones because Matt and I are at disparate parts of the state, and we also have Neil Atkinson from Bet Sarrazin at 1:15, and we've got in just a moment Aaron Torres. So let's break. Aaron Torres joins us right after this on halftime.
I think it's your girlfriend called.
Text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive Group, home of the Lewis Guarantee.
I tell you what, I know this got a lot of guys with some big hearts. For 3 hours or however long, maybe 4 hours, we're the best team in the country today. And it's offense, defense, and special teams. It's some guys like Darren McFadden, baby. Y'all better put him in the Heisman. You better put him up there. I'm tired of him being number 4.
We got that wood right here, baby.
Somebody better look at this guy, the best football player in the country, and his name's not being mentioned. Lou Holtz, Mark May, number 5. You better look at him a little closer. He's a football player.
ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Hey, this is Chad Warner, product manager for Booyah Bait Company in Fort Smith, Arkansas. The hottest.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Man, this takes me back to the 2000s.
All your Y2K favorites are back for only $3 or less. Only at Taco Bell.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge. And when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
Does your Razorback closet need an upgrade? The University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you're looking for, only at Roback.com. They've custom designed the best hoodies, polos, and Q-zips for your school. Go check out this and more at Roback.com, and don't forget to use our link for 20% off. Use code RUSH25 at checkout on Roback.com for 20% off your first order. That's RHOBACK.com. 20% off all hoodies, joggers, and more with Rush 25. Roback, where action meets comfort.
Get 20% off on your first order with the code RUSH25.
You don't always win your first bet. That's why MyBookie has you covered. Use our code HOGS, H-O-G-S, and your first bet up to $500 is fully covered. If your pick doesn't hit, you get it right back with our Bet Back bonus. Go to mybookie.ag and use the code HOGS to claim your Bet Back bonus. MyBookie's, where bettors win together, because bragging's good, but cashing in is better. And your first bet is fully covered. Use our code HOGS.
Got a little jingle. Dad, the driver looks dirty. You yucky, Daddy.
Hey, don't worry, boys. That's what we do best. At My Dreams Mo Wash, we make homes, businesses, and even big industrial spaces shine like new.
So you can clean houses and big buildings?
That's right. Residential, commercial, or industrial. No job's too big or too small. Call My Dreams Mo Wash today at 479-763-5561 or visit mjmowash.com.
My Junior's Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
Sundown, you better take care. Behind you been creeping round my back stairs. Sundown, you better take care. Behind you been creeping round my back stairs. She's been been looking like the queen in a sailor's dream, and she don't always say what she really means. Sometimes
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Just checking there. We do have Aaron Torres with us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline the day before. We're 2 weeks into the football season, AT. We had some really good games week one, a couple good ones last week. Got a lot on the docket this weekend, and truthfully, Arkansas-Ole Miss may be the most entertaining game. So you got to be fired up about this weekend.
Oh, it's one of the real intriguing ones, guys. And what's cool about this one, and it's funny how the schedules just kind of work themselves out. Never forget, Ole Miss last year was the last team to open SEC play, and it kind of burned them. They played 4 nobodies, and then they lose to Kentucky in their opener last year. Basically a loss that kept them out of the college football playoff. I bring it up because this year we have the data point of them going on the road and getting the win last week against Kentucky. Now, I think 2 things can be true going into this one is, one, you never want to dismiss an SEC win, especially on the road. But I would counter by saying I don't really think they looked that good last week. But then, 2, obviously, the other argument would be that Arkansas clearly, the schedule is going to get tougher after Alabama, A&M, and Arkansas State. So I'm intrigued. I'm curious. But I think, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I don't know that expectations were necessarily through the roof for Arkansas coming into the year. But I only bring it up because, I start to look at this game and say all of a sudden maybe Arkansas is potentially a little bit better than we were expecting. Maybe Ole Miss isn't quite as good, and I think a 3-0 start for Arkansas is absolutely in play on Saturday.
Man, Taylon Green's been setting the world on fire. We've been playing lower division opponents, and that's to your point about Ole Miss last year. What has impressed you? What would be one thing you think Arkansas can hang their hat on when they go in to play Ole Miss on Saturday?
Well, I think a couple things. Listen, again, everything will be the tests are going to get much tougher here going forward. But what I would say is that Lane Kiffin even referenced this week of last year, the secondary was clearly a weakness for Arkansas, and it was clearly something that Ole Miss exposed. I don't think people remember Ole Miss was a team that was really actually built on their defense last year, and the one game, at least in SEC play, that Jackson Dart really aired it out was against the Arkansas Razorbacks. And so, the point I'm trying to make is Lane Kiffin referenced today, this week, like, hey, in this world, you can really upgrade position groups or spots on your roster in one offseason. So he seems to be impressed by Arkansas secondary. And I guess the reason that I'm bringing that up is because, Matt, you asked like a place that Arkansas could maybe make hay. Listen, Austin Simmons, I'm not saying he won't get there, and I'm not saying that Lane Kiffin isn't a quarterback whisperer, but 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions through 2 games, and again, the schedule is going to get tougher. So, he's made mistakes with the football, especially early, and obviously when you're on the road in league play, those are situations you want to capitalize on. So that's just something I'm keeping my eye on is we know how good Taylon Green is. We know how much respect everybody has for Bobby Petrino and what he does on the offensive side of the ball. I think the question now is, what can Arkansas do on defense? Because obviously, I think that's going to be an X factor, especially on the road, is obviously slowing that offense down and keeping them off the scoreboard.
Yeah, AT, give me a thought on Tennessee and Georgia. What is it, 9 years in a row, 9 straight games that Georgia's beaten the Vols? Why could this year be a little bit different for the Vols?
Well, it is crazy. Heupel's beaten Alabama twice, which, I think if you ask Tennessee fans even, 3 years ago at this point, it would have seemed like a pipe dream. He's largely been pretty good against Florida. This is the one he hasn't figured out. But, I think, Phil, you asked me why. I think part of it is as simple as this, is that, the 2 best teams that Heupel has had at Tennessee, 2022 and then last year when they made the playoff, they had to go on the road to Georgia. And we all know how tough every road environment is. Just ask Nick Saban, right? He had the quote of every place is tough to play except Vanderbilt. And then, of course, Vanderbilt beat Alabama. But, I think, one, it's as simple as the game's at home. And I do think it's worth noting. Like, I know it's kind of a casual take to say Gunnar Stockton, even though he's played in a college football playoff game, an SEC championship game, this is his first career road start. And, Kirby Smart was really adamant this week that, we practice this stuff year-round. We don't just turn on music at practice on Monday when we're going on the road. This is stuff that we prepare for year-round. But I do think there is something different about going on the road than anything that you can simulate at practice, especially for the first time, especially specifically to that specific road environment. So to me, I think that's the intriguing conversation. And then I think conversely, Tennessee has some injuries in the secondary, but, Georgia has some injuries on the O-line as well. So those are reasons that I think it can happen. I expect a great game. I don't think this is a blowout one way or the other, but that is why I would argue that Tennessee can get the win at home. Is just, I like some of the matchups. I certainly like the home field advantage. And, if you're going to get a first-year starting quarterback, you want him in your place, and you certainly want him, especially early in the season, before he has a ton of game reps in that kind of environment. So that's really kind of what stands out to me about that game.
Yeah, speaking of young quarterbacks in a hostile environment, I'm really interested, Aaron, in this Texas A&M Notre Dame matchup. You got Mike Elko, sure, who is a defensive guy, going against a freshman quarterback. Notre Dame got him last year, maybe a little payback. I think they'll be ready for this game. What's your thoughts on that Texas A&M Notre Dame game?
Yeah, it's really the one that I don't think I have a great feel for, and it's just because, Notre Dame, weird deal with Notre Dame of week one, they don't look great. Then they have the week 2 bye, which is just strange. And so I go back to that Miami game on opening night or opening Sunday or whatever, and, they kind of abandoned the run early. We thought that was an area of strength. Was that because they saw something from Miami that they didn't think they could handle, or was it something that, they felt they just it was a bad day for the play caller? I don't know. And then from A&M's perspective, it's interesting, talking to the guys that cover that team every day, it really feels like Mike Elko used week 1 and week 2, UTSA and Utah State to really, I think, basically use those games as essentially like NFL preseason games where I don't think that Mike Elko's priority was winning by the biggest possible margin that he could in those 2 games. They really seemed to prioritize the passing game. I mentioned Arkansas really going heavy in the portal in the secondary. A&M went really heavy on the wide receiver core. I think they want to get those guys in rhythm. And, they really, not only didn't run the ball, they didn't really try to run the ball. Le'Veon Moss is probably the best back in the SEC, 13 carries through 2 games. I think they're trying to ease him in. So that's one, Matt. I think anytime you get 2 really good teams, you slightly favor the home team, but it's just one that I'm just going to sit back with my feet up and enjoy with multiple screens because, of course, that's when Arkansas and Ole Miss are playing as well. But that's one that I really don't have a super strong opinion on. I'm just curious to see how it all plays out.
LSU is a 7.5-point favorite at home against Florida, and the Gators. Look, that was just that was a big egg against South Florida, but a 20-20 record for Billy Napier as the head coach at Florida. Keep in mind, I think 3 or 4 wins come against FCS teams. So against FBS competition, he's below 500. Are they playing for their coach here? Do you expect to see Florida actually give a good game, or could LSU kind of just put them away early, maybe blow them out?
Yeah, first of all, the Napier stuff is crazy. It's funny. Even I was reading an article this morning, we focused so much on last year with the, 4 wins to end the regular season, 4 wins to end the season to save the job. Like, you forget the year before you had a 5-game losing streak at Florida. So including with Arkansas, that was their only SEC win in 2023. It's crazy over there. And I think last week, to me, I do think that was probably it, because it's not just that they lost, it's the manner in which they did it was awful clock management. It's just stuff you can't be doing in year 4 as the head coach, as a head coach in the SEC. And with the schedule they have, I don't see the scenario where they get the requisite wins. Now, LSU maybe, but even LSU, that's such a tough place to play, especially at night. And I just, what I saw from the offense, the other thing too, guys, really quick, the offense is going in the wrong direction. I mean, DJ Lagway's struggling, and I know he was injured during the spring and he was injured during fall camp, but it's just, this is supposed to be – I mean, this is the year they've been building for. This is the year, you had the five-star quarterback, which, helped kind of keep the job in 2023. Then the five-star played well in 2024. Well, this is supposed to be the year it's all coming together, and DJ Lagway doesn't really look like he's improved. So I just don't know what to make of that team. And quickly with LSU, what do we make of LSU? They look great against Clemson. Then neither LSU nor Clemson looks very good in week 2. So another one I'm intrigued by. I do trust that LSU defense in year 2 under Blake Baker. So I expect LSU to get the win. But from a, aesthetics perspective, I don't know that I think it's necessarily going to be the prettiest game overall.
Is
South Florida? Go
ahead, Matt. You can finish out with
are they in the driver's seat on not a Power 5 team, not a Power 4? South Florida, they're in the driver's seat to make the playoff 12. I know they got to go to Miami this weekend.
Yeah, I think the Miami game, to me, it's it's icing on top of the sundae, or icing on top of the cake or whatever. They've done the work. I think the question is what happens in the AAC, or I guess they call it the American now. We can't call it the AAC. That league just has, and I haven't really totally broken down the schedule, but listen, I do believe they play Memphis. Arkansas fans know how tough Memphis is. I know you guys are going to see them on the schedule here in a couple days. Army, Navy, the triple option, that's always weird. Just ask Kansas State. So I know we're all enthralled with this win. And I know, listen, Alex Golesh seems like really just a rising star in the coaching industry, comes from that Heupel coaching tree. But, I think to answer your question, Matt, yes, they're in the driver's seat. I think we got a lot of football left before I'm confident that when that 12-team bracket comes out, whatever it is, the first weekend of December, that they're the team. So
let's leave it there, AT. Enjoy the football this week, and we'll revisit a week from today. Thanks, man.
So the Arkansas baseball schedule came out this week. I thought I was going to get a bunch of questions on that. We'll save that for next week, though, okay?
We'll save that for maybe a few weeks, yes. So Aaron Torres, noted college baseball guy, too. And, of course, the host of the Aaron Torres podcast. And on Fox Sports Radio, he'll be hosting later on tonight. 877-377-6963. If you want to react, that is our Lewis Automotive Hotline. Get over to Joe's Grilling Cantina. If you're around Fort Smith for the game tomorrow, that is the absolute best place to watch. You also get half-price apps and half-price taps if you're wearing your Razorback gear during the game. That's right, half-price apps and taps along with your hog gear. And check out the 10-layer dip, Chimmy Paquitos, Ultimate Sampler, and Mexican Pizza. It's game day tomorrow at Joe's Grilling Cantina. During the game, if you're wearing your Razorback gear, half-price apps and taps. Joe's Grilling Cantina, 74th Street across from Harps and Fort Smith, joesfortsmith.com. Quick break. Back with more in a moment. This is Halftime.
There's a very low percentage of this that is smiles and glory holes.
This is Halftime.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Gellco Outdoors Fall Hunting Sale is going on now through Saturday. Shotguns starting at $150. AR rifles as low as $399.99. Save 10% off on all ammo gun cases starting at $14.99. Higdon duck decoys over 50% off. Rhino corn feeders $299.99. Select bows and crossbows $300 to $500 off on brands like Hoyt, Elite, Botec, and Raven. Don't miss the big fall hunting sale this week at Gellco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Looking for power, comfort, and performance you can count on? The New Holland 300 Series compact track loader delivers all three. Backed by reviews from operators who say it's the smoothest ride and best visibility in its class. And right now at WT Equipment, you can choose 0% financing for 60 months or take advantage of big cashback offers. Built to perform and made to last, the 300 Series is ready when you are. Visit WT Equipment and experience it for yourself.
It's football season, and that means tailgate parties and gathering with friends. River Point Wine and Spirits has all your favorite party supplies. You'll love our clean, organized store full of all the best liquor, wine, and beer. At River Point, we're a family-owned business where customer service is always our priority. Your journey, our spirit. River Point Wine and Spirits, Grand Avenue and I-540.
Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith has been providing quality work for all new and rebuilt diesel pumps and injectors for over 25 years. They are a certified diesel shop with a team of quality technicians that ensure the highest quality workmanship and warranties all their work. They're open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and has emergency service available 24 hours a day. For all your diesel pump, fuel injection, and parts needs, stop by Arkansas Fuel Injection, 6300 South 29th Street, Fort Smith. Call them today at 1-800-817-7709. Arkansas Fuel Injection.
A new era of chicken is here to stay, and it's not your parents' poultry. The Cantina Chicken menu from Taco Bell is slow roasted and perfectly seasoned. Take it tacoed up in a crispy white corn tortilla with cheese inside and out, or wrapped in a burrito with fresh purple cabbage and freshly prepared pico de gallo. However you like it, you'll never chicken the same way again. Get yours today at your nearest Taco Bell and join rewards to earn free food. Available at participating stores. Rewards points are earned on qualifying purchases. All items while supplies last. Subject to terms.
This college football moment is brought to you by ServPro.
College football teams have moments they recovered from and made it like it never even happened. Like on September 24, 2016, when Tulsa found themselves down 31-0 to Fresno State. With 10 minutes left in the second quarter, Tulsa fought back to tie the game at 41. And then won 48-41 in double overtime.
ServPro. Like it never even happened.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Just trying to understand what makes a woman do the things she does. One day she'll love you, the next day she'll leave you. Why can't we have it just the way it used to be? Woo. Why can't we have it, baby?
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Oh, Matt, people have been asking. People have been wondering. They've been texting in, what's up with Eddie? We haven't heard from him for forever. And I think he called Chuck and Bo this morning, texted with Eddie yesterday. I texted with him a couple days ago because we had 2 or 3 texts of people literally concerned about Eduardo the Sherpa's well-being. And he has heard your concerns, and he is here with us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline. Matt, how fired up do you hear from Eddie for the first time? And, of course, he's waited until the day before SEC play begins to make the call.
I feel like he's doing what Mike Gellco was doing, what AT just said. Those first couple games are preseason games, and now it's here. Now it's time to go.
It's the Lewis Automotive Hotline, and for right now, it's the Eduardo the Sherpa Hotline. Eddie, we've missed you. It's great to hear from you. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing fine, sir. Certainly been a trying year. And thank you for reaching out. You know, my wife has been sick, and so please keep her in your prayers. Certainly, you know, I love the Razorbacks, no doubt about it. People say you must love the Razor, no doubt about it. The Razorbacks dwell in me. The whistle dwells in me, but nothing like my wife, Lindsay. I tell you what, I believe the heart endures a lot of things, and I tell you what, she endures in me, heart and soul. But anyway, I'm telling you what, when you talk about this game, I believe when we leave the Grove tomorrow night, that whistle is going to be blowing. As I go down memory lane, as I told them, Phil and Matt, you had a game again. We beat them before in the Grove. I believe the 7 overtime thriller. Go back, Matt Jones. What about in 2015? The Hunter heave when Brandon hit Hunter and he heaved it to Alex College, for the dagger. Let me say this. The game's played on the field, and I believe the team is going down there with a mission, a purpose. That's to beat the Rebels and get the Hawk train rolling for the season. What do you think about that, gentlemen?
Hey, Eddie. I think a lot of people are thinking the same thoughts that you're thinking, that they have some belief that it's a better offense and that they might actually be able to just outscore Ole Miss, because that's what I think this will end up being about. A couple of turnovers maybe might set you up in the right spot, but I think Arkansas's got a great shot at this game. I think they're going to go out and play really hard. I think they'll play with a lot of effort. And I think they've got I think they have the big play guys on both sides of the ball to take care of this. I don't think it'll be any blowout or anything, and they could certainly lose too, because I think here's the thing about the Ole Miss game against Kentucky, and I don't know if this is a matter that this concerns me at the very because I don't think this is the style of team that Arkansas is. Ole Miss lost a muck-it-up game last year to Kentucky. This year they won that sort of game. If you're able to hand it off 48 times and beat a team like Kentucky, that's their style of game. You think of Ole Miss as air it out, throw the deep ball. And I don't think necessarily this might be that kind of team at the moment. So I do think Ole Miss showed something last week, Eddie. Absolutely. The Hogs showed something, but the Rebels did it in SEC play.
Well, sir, you've heard me say many times, there's a recipe for everything in life. And listen to this, there's a recipe for homemade apple pie. You like homemade apple pie, don't put a little vanilla ice cream on it. Let me tell you something else.
A little Latisse on the top. I like it with a little Latisse on the top. Make it look artistic. Don't you like your pie to look a little bit artistic, Eddie? Yeah.
That's exactly right. I had a grandfather who grew his own muscadines. He'd go out there and make some homemade muscadine wine, but there was a recipe that went into it. You've heard me say many times, when I talk about Hog Delight, it's just performance on the field by our athletes. And tomorrow night in the Grove, it's going to be on full display. I believe we got one of the best mobile athletic quarterbacks in the entire country, led by Mr. Taylor Green. I believe we got the running back to get the job done with Braylon Russell, Washington Hill. You need to step up, son. Let me say this. We got Omega Blake, a big-time playmaker. You talk about the Browns. Every receiver needs to step up, attack Ole Miss, spread them out, attack their defense on the perimeter. And if you do that, don't turn the ball away. We're going to leave the Grove with the whistle blowing back to Fayetteville, Arkansas. And I'll say this one more. I'll say this. What's born in the USA, the best things in life. And I mentioned it this week. You've heard me mention it before. Bruce Spring, born in the USA, where you're going to see it tomorrow night in Oxford, Mississippi, in the Grove, because it's going to be on full display. The Wolf Pig Suey, is that going? The recipe is simmering in the oven. Just go feed them a big helping bowl.
You're going to have a whole day to get that recipe simmering, Eduardo. A whole day for that recipe to simmer. And I think we'll see who eats more of it by the end of the day, because it'll be a long day, hopefully not too long of a night. It's great to hear from Eduardo. And Eddie, as always, thank you for listening to our show. He needed a little bit of the slow build there, Matt. Just a little bit of a slow build to sort of get the juices flowing again. It almost felt like it was a preseason game for Eddie, right? Just kind of get ready again, see what this feels like. And then by the time it's the Notre Dame game in 2 weeks, that'll be in mid-season screaming form. Woo! That is exactly right. Thank you, Eddie. 877-377-6963 for the Lewis Automotive Hotline. But I think, Eddie, that's reflective of the way everybody feels about this game. I'm so excited to see this new-look Arkansas offense against, and I know that it's not the exact same defense from last year, but, man, they've got 6.5 of the 8 sacks that they had against the Hogs returning from that blowout last year. It's not the exact same defense, but it's got a big chunk of it returning, and they're looking for the same sort of result. And although it's a different...
We only got one offensive lineman from last year, though, huh?
That's what I was getting at. Although it's a different group of linemen that they're going to be coming at, and I think they went at 2 of them because there was Carmona at left tackle, and I don't remember, I'd have to check it, who started at right tackle in that game against the Rebels. I think by then they'd made the switch to Amarion Harris, and Blackstock had been bumped to second string. So there are a couple of guys that were on that line last year, but I think only Harris started at the same position. But what I was going to hit at is that those Rebel defenders are going at the same target, just different players and, different alignment in the way that they're protecting him. And it's a healthier Taylon Green. That's the other aspect of this. The first time last year when these teams met, that was, 2 weeks after or 3 weeks after the upset against Tennessee in which Taylon injured his leg. So that was not the same Taylon Green that you're seeing in this game. I'm looking back at the numbers here. Taylon did run 10 times for 40 yards on a bad leg, but he also was sacked 8 times. So, man, he took some hits in that game, Matt, and I think in this game it's not like he's looking to deliver the hits, but I think he'll be able to take them a little bit better.
Well, and he's more comfortable, he's more confident, understanding the offense, understanding where the pressure is, understanding his hot read. There's a time when you have to take hits. It is a collision sport. We know that. But there's the unnecessary hits is what you want to eliminate. And I think you've seen that. The first 2 games, one of the things that stood out was when you give Taylon time, he knows where to go with the ball. And for the most part, he's been making the right reads and the right throws. And, interceptions are going to happen. That's part of it. But with his decision-making those first 2 weeks, Phil, I think it's been, if we were to grade it, A-. If you're saying, hey, his decision-making, when to take the ball and run, who to pass it to, I think he's been making good decisions so far.
Also because there just hasn't been that much pressure on him in these first 2 weeks. We don't know what it's like when the play breaks down, and he's got to scramble and create on the fly and see what the receivers do. He's certainly going to have. They might protect him better this year, but that protection is going to break down at some point because this is a talented group of Ole Miss pass rushers, and they'll have their opportunities. 877-377-6963 for the Lewis Automotive Hotline. Reminding you about Crabtree RV Center in Alma, a place that's been serving our listening audience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas for going 3/4 of a century and counting. Here's what you get at Crabtree RV, the absolute best purchasing experience for any RV anywhere. You get personalized financing and a top-of-the-line parts and service department on site at Crabtree RV, junction of I-40 and I-49 in Alma, crabtreerv.com. Live at Gellco Outdoors, and we're back to wrap up hour number 1 of Halftime in a moment.
This is Halftime.
Dave and the crew at Eastside Liquor have everything you need. Football is back, and so is their Oktoberfest beers. Make sure you try their ready-to-drink cocktails and their outstanding bourbon selection. 9390 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith with a convenient drive-through. You can also give them a call at 479-452-7311. Eastside Liquor, everyday low prices on beer, wine, spirits, and cigars.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi, I'm Dr. Cole Johnson with River Valley Smile Center. If you're hiding your smile because of chipped, stained, or uneven teeth, or you feel like your smile doesn't reflect how you feel inside, our dental team is here to help. We offer a variety of cosmetic and restorative dental services, from custom veneers to full mouth rehabilitation. We take pride in combining clinical precision with an artistic eye to help you feel confident and comfortable every step of the way. It's time to love your smile again. Call 479-646-0706 or visit rivervalleysmiles.com to set up your consultation. Let's create the smile you've always wanted.
Are you an electrician that's looking for a smaller, non-corporate job? Well, I'm here in studio with Sloan Walker of Sloan Electric, starting 40, 45 hours a week, anywhere from $20 to $28 an hour, depending on the experience.
Yeah, that's all correct. We offer competitive pay. We have 6 paid major holidays. I'm working on some other benefits to go with those for my current employees and future employees. Best way to get in contact with me is just give me a phone call or text at 479-461-4302. Sloan Electric. We can power up together.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird Real Estate Group has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours, or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at LimbirdTeam.com. LIMBIRD.
The Big Ten is up, and the deals are hot at Gellco Outdoors in Fort Smith. Save 50% off on casual and hunting clothing for men, women, and children. Get ready to hunt with big savings on ground blinds, chairs, feeders, archery targets, and so much more. Check out the new deer blinds during the Gellco Outdoors Fall Hunting and Tent Sale, now through Saturday. Gellco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Have you had Cheerwine yet? The cherry flavor soda has had people coming back since 1917. This is RD with Platinum Distributing. We help bring Cheerwine to the River Valley for you to try. Nothing goes with food like Cheerwine. Burgers, barbecue, pizza, you name it. Okay, now we're hungry and thirsty. Cheerwine is a one-of-a-kind soft drink with a unique cherry taste that has been delighting Southerners for more than a century. Pick up Cheerwine at your local Jam Mart, Harps, and other fine establishments. Cheerwine, uniquely Southern since 1917.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963. Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Live on halftime, Phil Elson in Forest City, Arkansas, on the way to Ole Miss, and Matt Jones is at Gellco on South Zero Street in Fort Smith. We got Richard here with us too. Richard, I miss you, man. I wish I was over there, but had to go in the other direction. So we're playing opposite ends of the state today. But you got a lot going on at Gellco, don't you?
What do? Fall season's here. Football's in the air, so it's
hunting seasons are opening up, and time for the guys to get ready.
You got to come here and just peruse. It'd be like getting on the interweb and looking for 40. I mean, there are so many things here. Whatever you need, whatever you want, you'll find something here for sure.
Well, we got the big tent sale going on, and goes on through tomorrow at 5 o'clock, and there's lots of bargains out there, and just want to invite all the duck hunters and the deer hunters, archery hunters to get on out here.
Give me a peek inside the tent. What's under the tent for sale right now, Richard? Just a few of those things.
Yeah, we've got a lot of hunting clothing, casual clothing, 50% off. There's backpacks, camo backpacks for $19.99, fanny packs for $9.99. We gave Ty one of those this morning so he wouldn't get offended or anything. He needed a nice camo fanny pack, So we got all of our ammo inside the store on sale for 10% off, so like the duck hunters can save money on their steel shot. We've got duck decoys out there under the tent, standard size. Buy 2 boxes for $40. We've got our rhino deer feeders on sale for $2.99. They're regularly $3.99. We've got some crossbows, compound bows, $300 to $500 off. There's just you come to Gellco, we've got you covered.
Get the right guy standing next to you there, Matt. How many things did you say you had your eye on? I think by the time you said it, it's probably multiplied by 2.
There's at least 30. but tell Ty, just because he has a camouflage fanny pack, it's not going to hide his waistline at all.
Well, I mean, you want to make sure that you can keep hide your.
Really
your,
wish he's had it with him. He could take it to Ole Miss and pick up some chicks down there.
Sorry, they can camouflage his forehead and they won't see him anyway. It's okay. So how long is the sale going on?
It's going on through tomorrow at 5 o'clock. We'll be here from 9 to 5 tomorrow and 6 o'clock this evening.
That's great. Well, I've always enjoyed walking around under the tent, and it's like, I'm not the biggest outdoorsman, but I've always come away from Gellco finding something for myself. Whether it's been, and usually you guys have got great discounts on shoes. I got the flip flops. I think I got a pair of Hey Dudes at Gellco before. So I mean, it literally is. It's something for everybody. Even if you're not a hunter, there's going to be something for you.
Well, we appreciate y'all coming out today, and we'll be back with you in about an hour, and invite everyone to come on out this afternoon.
Come on out here this afternoon, and I appreciate you guys finding me a spot inside, Phil. They was outside for a little bit, but they got me in the AC. I complained just enough, through just enough of a fit. They hooked me up.
It's just a little bit sweaty outside.
I'm getting soft.
Well, it's Gellco Outdoors. It's the big tent sale at 4600 South Zero Street in Fort Smith. Matt's out there until 2 o'clock, and we'll come back in a moment, and you can get with us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline into hour number 2 at 877-377-6963. Have Clay Henry join us at 12:15 on the phone for a couple of segments. So the next segment's the time to get on the horn. And halftime continues right after this.
Summer is finally here, and so are the road trips that you've had planned. That's why it's time to visit us at Southern Tire Mart. Southern Tire Mart's expert service, competitive pricing, and top quality tires will ensure your vehicle is ready for all your summer adventures. Visit us in Fort Smith at 9700 Highway 271 and let us ensure your vehicle is prepared for the summer. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. Southern Tire Mart. We keep America rolling.
Artie's Original Bag is back, now with even more full-size sandwiches. Choose any two. The new spicy chicken sandwich, hot ham and cheese, hand-breaded chicken tender wrap, or charbroiled double cheeseburger. Mix and match any two. With fries and a drink, just $6.99. Why settle for junior burgers? Get big savings on full-size goodness in Hardee's Country. Download the app and join my rewards for special offers. These items only, tax not included. Price and participation may vary. See app for terms.
Do you feel that, Arkansas? The Lotto jackpot is now more than $1 million. Why should you care? Because this $1 million+ prize can only be won in Arkansas. There are 2 Lotto drawings every week, and the jackpot keeps growing until there's a winner. Join the fun and play Lotto today. A $2 ticket could change your life. Get yours in stores today. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Hey, Hog fans, if you can't be at the game, the next best seat in the house is at Sofa City. They've got this new leather reclining set with heat, massage, surround sound, and even vibration, so you can feel like you're in the middle of all the action. And if you're looking for deals, they've got them. Recliners start at just $298, or you can upgrade your set with a power reclining sofa for only $998. It's all in stock, so you can buy it today and enjoy it tonight. Visit Sofa City near you, Portsmouth, Russellville, Harrison, and Mountain Home. Or see more at sofacityusa.com.
At Arvest Bank, we believe small businesses are the backbone of communities. Whether you're just getting your business off the ground, planning for future growth, or managing the day-to-day, we want you to thrive. That's why we help businesses of all kinds find their strength. Because everyone deserves a financial partner who cares. Arvest Bank, we believe.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, plenty of sunshine. The high this afternoon will really heat up all the way into the middle 90s. Mainly clear sky, upper 60s overnight, and then Saturday, sunny skies, a high in the low to mid 90s. Sunday, partly sunny, low to mid 90s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
You're listening to ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
Tommy's right on this one. Do you feel? Let me ask you this.
Normal around here. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Oh, ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it. We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
People said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my hot dog? Let's go, man.
The angles were so bad, we showed them at halftime.
What they for one Razorback?
Like, what in the world were we thinking?
It's vintage Matt Jones.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
I'll hang back when he gets here.
Welcome back to halftime. It's hour number 2. Phil Elson on the east coast of Arkansas and Matt Jones on the west coast of Arkansas as we do our little east-west competition here again. Well, not quite on the coasts of the state. Phil is me, and I'm in Forest City. Thanks to the folks at KXJK and KBFC on the Razorback Radio Network, helping me cut the drive not quite in half. It's about 2.5 to 3 hours to Tupelo from Forest City, about 90 minutes here from where I live. So it's good to break up this 4 to 4.5 hour drive up. Not quite in half, but it's nice to have folks across the state that are hospitable. And, of course, we know this state is full of hospitable people in and out of the radio business. Matt is at the Gellco Outdoors location on South Zero Street in Fort Smith with a big tent sale. You can't miss the big tent once you walk inside. And let's go to the phones because we've got Clay Henry coming up in about 15 minutes. He'll be on our Lewis Automotive hotline, so we won't be able to take any calls during those segments. and a couple people have been holding. So let's go to Ryan in Hot Springs. Hey, Ryan, good afternoon. Appreciate you holding. How are you?
Hey, I'm awesome. Also, cause y'all were talking about the differences in last year. I want to remind everybody too that number one, that Braylon wasn't healthy for that game either, because that was the next week after the Mississippi State game. Almost positive where he wasn't healthy. He pulled his hammy because he was not hitting the hole like he had previously.
You're right.
Also, too, by that point, our tight end room was pretty much done for the year because Washington and Gums was gone. Has, I think, was in and out of the lineup with injuries. So you're going into this game with a little more what's the word? A full arsenal, if you will. And so it's where you didn't last year. So like I said, more than anything, I just wanted to point out about Braylon and about the tight end room, and that could be a difference this year. Is that we having a tight end room, because that's just more weapons to use. That's my thoughts. I hope you'll have a great day, and go Hogs.
Sure. Yeah, you got that, Ryan. Thanks a lot. And I think none of that had not that much to do with the offensive line. And Russell wasn't very good picking up the blitz last year either. And the issue last year, yes, you didn't score enough, you didn't move the ball enough, and you didn't protect Talon enough. But the defense allowed 63 points. And I guess one of them came on it was a touchdown. There was the first score was a fumble return right there at the goal line, so that's not on the defense, but. The injuries to Braylon and Talon had nothing to do with 3 60-plus yard touchdowns to Jordan Watkins. So, maybe it's a matter of just trying to keep up. I don't know. I'm almost of the sense that I think it's the Ole Miss offense that'll have to do the keeping up. But I don't know. Maybe I got my Razorback glasses on, Matt.
I hope you're right. I don't think there's the thing if we're talking about offenses being equal. I like our quarterback. I like our running back. I think it could be a little bit opposite, Phil. It could be who actually gets a couple stops. Can both of these teams score 24 points on anybody in the country? Probably so. Both these teams could. So what defense is going to step up? Who's going to get a couple sacks? It's going to have to be opportune moments where who can get off the field on third down. Maybe it's that. Who wins the third down battle as far as who can stop the other team's offense on third down and get off the field. And then what offense, when they get to third down, can keep possession going. And every time you get a first down, Phil, the defense is resting. You're getting them to be rested up a little bit and ready to go. So it could be a game like that.
Let's go back to the Lewis Automotive Hotline, and Charlie's here. Hey, Charlie, phones are working today. I know they weren't for you yesterday, but here you are. What's up?
Well, I'm actually on a company phone, Phil. So
That's why it works. Yeah, helps when you pay your cell phone bill, right?
I'm in an That's good. I like that. I'm in an undisclosed location myself here, Phil. So. No one knows I'm here. But no, in all seriousness, man, I was thinking about, this game. And look, it's very simple to me, and you guys have talked about it all week. But Matt, you make great points, but whoever blocks better in this game is going to win this game. Whoever establishes the physicality that needs to be established is going to win this game. If Arkansas can somewhat, I guess, make Ole Miss one-dimensional, because let's be real, we all know Lane likes to throw it around, but they want to run the football, and they always have under him. If you can find a way to make these guys one-dimensional, and I think this quarterback, as talented, as great as he's probably going to be, he's a young quarterback right now. And if you get him to situations where they are must-pass situations, and that's where I think T. Will can, disguise some things, and this guy will throw you the ball, and when he does, you got to catch it.
But that's also, Charlie, that's where if you watched any of the replay of their game against Kentucky, there's a 4th and 1 where they just totally fake Kentucky out into thinking that they're just crashing up the middle. Next thing you know, Simmons finds the Penn State transfer for I think it was a 45 or 50-yard play that got him down to the 1. So the long pass is always going to be an aspect of their offense, and I just don't think that this year it's as much of it. But one thing about last year's game, and it was when change of possession happened, Ole Miss went for the throat. I don't know if you expect that on first or second down on a drive, like the first or second play this year, but that's what they did last year. And I think we might have been expecting something else.
That's true, but I think too, like I don't know what was said that we were tipping our hat offensively. What was that like? That they knew what we were going to do offensively.
Well, there were hints from folks that maybe they had stolen signals, or you don't know what to believe in those kinds of things. I think Sam was talking about it being an alignment issue, because I don't think he's going to stand there and accuse somebody of stealing signals. But were rumors about
How much
it. But
then are you?
People say the same thing about the baseball team and stealing signs out of the center field fence.
How much are either one of you guys worried about Kudus giving them some of our signals then? I mean, are you worried about it? They just got one of our offensive players who knows all of our signals.
Heck, you tell me.
Yeah.
You tell me, Matt. I don't know. In that case, I would hope they'd changed it by now, but it is the same coordinator and the same quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I could be worried about that some, but I think this is the deal. It's still going to come down to the line of scrimmage and the physicality. Like when I'm watching that game last night with Washington and Green Bay, this is why I think Green Bay is one of the favorites, and I know it's early, but when you can rush 4 and drop 7 and play the way they can, and then if you can't run against Green Bay, it's kind of like Philly last year. Good luck moving the ball against them, because they're dropping back, they're playing zone, and they're able to. It's going to be really hard. I don't care who your quarterback is, and when you can play that way, it's really hard to beat it. And look, T. Will, I think he'll call a good game. It's just going. Can we get them to 3rd and long? And Matt, with them, we got to stop them on 4th down, because Kiffin goes for it like every other time. So, anyways, y'all have a good one.
Yeah, 3rd down had nothing to do with last year. They converted 6 out of 12. Hogs converted 5 out of 12. You think 4th down is going to be a thing? It was last year. It will be in this. 4th down is going to be a thing in this game. Anytime you play Ole Miss, it will, because they've already gone for it twice, and they've converted on both of them. Got time for a Fish City Friday trivia question. Every Friday, we'll give away a $25 gift certificate to Fish City Grill in Rogers, as long as you are the first person to answer the question correctly. Fish City Friday, the chalkboard specials this month of September at Fish City Grill. Jalapeno bacon mahi tacos, grilled branzino with chimichurri, garlic herb potatoes, and grilled broccolini. Brett and his team, they love to cater for the Razorbacks, and they can do the same for you. Call Fish City Grill at 479-636-8833. Give them a visit on South Bellevue Road in Rogers. You can also get Uber Eats or pick it up online and order at fishcitygrill.com. Here's the question. Out of all of the teams that Arkansas football has on the schedule this year, which all-time series began first? So that would be Alabama. Well, we already know Alabama A&M and Arkansas State. Those were the first ever meetings. Same with Notre Dame. So that leaves you 9 other schools that Arkansas is playing this year, and it isn't the first time meeting. Which series of the remaining 9 opponents was the first to begin? 877-377-6963. The first one to text in the correct answer will win the $25 gift card to Fish City Grill. Now we break on halftime. Clay Henry's on the phone right after this. This is halftime.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963.
On 2nd down, the give is to Felix Jones on an end around. Jones to the 30 to 40. Jones in midfield. He may go. 25, the 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Arkansas. Felix Jones goes 72 yards. And the Razorbacks increase their lead.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Ace has always been the helpful place, and now we're even more helpful by offering instant savings to Ace Rewards members. Not a member? Just sign up at Metters Lumber Ace Hardware to start saving right at the register. Right now, save $60 on an Ego 56-volt 16-inch chainsaw kit after instant savings with your Ace Rewards card. Ace, the helpful place. Must be an Ace Rewards member to receive instant savings. Available through the end of the month. See participating stores for details.
Artie's Original Bag is back, now with even more full-size sandwiches. Choose any two. The new spicy chicken sandwich, hot ham and cheese, hand-breaded chicken tender wrap, or charbroiled double cheeseburger. Mix and match any two with fries and a drink.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Man, this takes me back to the 2000s.
All your Y2K favorites are back for only $3 or less. Only at Taco Bell.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge. And when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
Does your Razorback closet need an upgrade? The University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you're looking for, only at Roback.com. They've custom designed the best hoodies, polos, and Q-zips for your school. Go check out this and more at Roback.com, and don't forget to use our link for 20% off. Use code RUSH25 at checkout on Roback.com for 20% off your first order. That's RHOBACK.com. 20% off all hoodies, joggers, and more with Rush 25. Roback, where action meets comfort.
Get 20% off on your first order with the code RUSH25.
You don't always win your first bet. That's why MyBookie has you covered. Use our code HOGS, H-O-G-S, and your first bet up to $500 is fully covered. If your pick doesn't hit, you get it right back with our Bet Back bonus. Go to mybookie.ag and use the code HOGS to claim your Bet Back bonus. MyBookie's, where bettors win together, because bragging's good, but cashing in is better. And your first bet is fully covered. Use our code HOGS.
Got a little jingle.
Dad, the driver looks dirty. You yucky, Daddy.
Hey, don't worry, boys. That's what we do best. At My Dreams Mo Wash, we make homes, businesses, and even big industrial spaces shine like new.
So you can clean houses and big buildings?
That's right. Residential, commercial, or industrial. No job's too big or too small. Call My Dreams Mo Wash today at 479-763-5561 or visit mjmowash.com.
My Junior's Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Hall of Fame sports writer Clay Henry. Of course, you can read him at Whole Hog Sports, and joins us on halftime here a day before game day. The hay is not quite in the barn for this game, Clay, but the feeling is the betting line continues to inch a little bit closer towards Arkansas, that we're in for a great football game tomorrow, just next to the Grove.
You know, I've been listening to you guys, and you know, it boils down to one thing to me. And this goes from the last 2 years of the Ole Miss Arkansas game. Arkansas must eliminate the long pass play. I don't know how many there have been in the last two games, but it's been atrocious. And whether that it was one-on-one matchups that they liked, but the cornerbacks, the way Ole Miss plays in the run game, puts those defensive backs on an island where they're playing a lot of man-to-man because of what you have to do to stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
And they've beaten those guys one-on-one. And I think they've also, in last year's game, I think they had some alignment bust that they took advantage. In other words, Dark looks out there and he sees something that he knows that he's got space to get one of his guys the ball in open space. And, whether it was confusion or whatever happened, Arkansas's got to improve that. That's just a huge part of this game tomorrow night.
Well, they've talked a lot about that. This is a secondary that they think could cover one-on-one. That's why I think why you went out and got Julian Neal. I think that's why you made so many changes in the secondary. That's why you get two different starting cornerbacks right now. And
no doubt.
You're going to learn a lot about them in this game.
Yeah. They'll get attacked. And they found something that they liked, and they just kept hammering on it last year. Even to the point where they brought Dart back to get a record. He came out and they're just kind of joking around. You would hope that is memorable for the Arkansas defense, that they go into this game with an attitude of we want a little bit of a payback. And I don't know if it's a rivalry game, but I think it's a game where who's on the other side. I'm talking about Lane Kiffin and his coaches. Those staffs are almost intact.
Clay,
Arkansas. Yeah.
Well, what I was going to, you bring up a very good point, and I totally agree with you with that long pass. How much of it is based on they max protect, they even pull a guard or two, and then still throw the ball? Because, we're not used to that. We haven't seen anybody do that this year, and a lot of teams don't do that well, especially at the college level. And it's, hey, we're going to send a high-low read. We know the quarterback can make the right read, and we're going to move the pocket and pull some guard, because it seemed like that's what they did. It's not just like, hey, we're going to go out there with 5 wideouts and throw it deep. There was a little bit of a schematic thing they were doing that we really didn't catch up to last year.
Yeah, I think that's right. And it comes down to being able to get some pressure where he doesn't have time for those deep passes to develop, and crossing routes and those things. I think Xavier Story will be big in this because I think he's the edge rusher in this game. And, maybe he comes through a gap, but I think he's the Drew Sanders that, Arkansas had a couple of years ago that impacted the pass rush. But I really think that's a big part of the game. And then where is Arkansas in their pass protection? And you just mentioned max protect. Arkansas had tight ends and backs out in routes last week against Arkansas State. Can they afford to do that against Ole Miss and still give the quarterback time? Or has this offense developed where if somebody lines up and they say they're coming, can you slide somebody in behind them, whether it be a tight end or a running back? And I saw Mike Washington in hot reads last week. They didn't always throw it to him, but it was there. That really slows down the blitz if you know that the running back's in the passing game.
Clay, is this a team do you think the Hogs can run against? Because they're going to have to run the ball effectively, and I think Ole Miss showed last week. And I don't think this is going to be that kind of game, but when they need to run the ball, they can run the ball. Go out and get Keywan Lacey, and they were content just letting him run into the line a few times and break off a few long ones. But for the Hogs, it's to me it feels like it's run to pass in this game. What do you think?
Yeah, the physical nature of the line of scrimmage, Ole Miss won that last year on both sides of the ball. Their defensive line was probably as good as anybody in the country last year. Don't think they're quite as good. They've lost some guys. They've got some pass rushers back. They're not quite the same in the defensive line where they had 8. They're and this is going to be a hot game, and I don't think their depth is as good as it's been. Can Arkansas run it? And they look like they're better. And I sat with some NFL scouts, and they were looking at Arkansas. Three offensive linemen they had on the sheet that that they were there to look at for Arkansas. Left tackle, left guard, center. I think Arkansas is significantly better in those 3 spots. Maybe a little better on the right side. We'll see this week how much Arkansas has improved in their offensive line. I think that it's going to be a game where they can move the ball and protect their defense a little bit with some drives. The big plays they came so easy last week against Arkansas State that the Arkansas defense was out there too long. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think Arkansas will have some drives this week to protect their defense a little bit.
Who do you think, Clay, leads this Arkansas team in rushing? And maybe if Taylon Green has 250 in the air and 80 in rushing, but do you? I think for us to win this game, not that Taylon doesn't need to use his legs to win this game, but I think Mike Washington, Braylon Russell need to combine for close to 200 rushing yards, and that really will give us a good chance to win. Do you think that those running backs can do that against Ole Miss?
Yes, nobody ran on them last year like that. Nobody was able to block their defensive front. I think they will. I heard y'all talking about stealing signals. Just remember, guys, it's all through the headsets now. It's kind of hard to steal signals. You might steal checks. You might know the check system, but you would, I think 150 is a good number. I don't think either team's going to run for 200 yards in this game. I do think that there'll be less big plays than what we've seen the last 2 years.
I agree with you on that right there, Clay. Yes.
On both sides, yeah.
But this game ought to regress to what it's been before, which is whether it's low scoring or high scoring, it's close. And it's to me that's what these are games you got to win if you're gonna have an understanding of your program. And look, I think the guys inside the locker room and nationally, there's different understandings of what Arkansas football is. You got to beat Ole Miss, right. You got to beat Mississippi State and beat Missouri in order to get, I think, where. Look, you want to win over A&M and all of that, and everybody that you're playing, but I just feel like if you first of all you beat those 3 schools, you're not going to finish with just 3 SEC wins. You may end up with a better than 500 record, but you hired your coach at the same time that Ole Miss did, same as Missouri. Those programs have had more success, so those games to me they have added meaning because your coach was hired at the same time as those coaches.
Yeah, and I think that the hidden part of this game that we don't want to talk about, it's turnovers and penalties, and we're still just 3 games in. Whose operations, who's slick,
who's cleaner,
who handles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just that's all those things are in these kind of games. When you look back and you think, well, we made this mistake, and this mistake. And force a couple of turnovers by and large. And again, we want to see Taylon Green, if he's different last year in these SEC games, that there's no turnovers, that he doesn't help the other team. And of course, to his offensive line protects him, it makes it a little easier.
Well, that's for sure. Just excited to get SEC football going here first, and more than anything. And I don't know. I mean, you can give a little bit of an edge to Ole Miss just in the fact that they've played that physical brand of football before anybody else in the SEC has. I guess outside of Kentucky, but Rebels got the last laugh. Do you give any edge because Ole Miss has played an SEC game, or is that just a little bit overdone?
Well, two things. Ole Miss is at home.
Mm-hmm.
This is a road trip. Don't confuse that. And yeah, I think that helps them a little bit. The physical nature, they know what they have as far as their line play. Who's going to be solid. But by the same token, Arkansas has a little bit better read in that the scouting report is the tape is from an SEC game, and I don't know that how much Arkansas showed or how much their tendencies are accurate, because they could do anything they wanted in these last two games. Just be honest about that.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much did.
Hey,
All right,
Clay,
go ahead, man.
Oh, okay. Hey, I wanted to ask you on these first two games, because number 17, the receiver for Arkansas, the guy I think he went to LSU, Florida State, now Arkansas. Omega Blake, too, as well. But 17's really stood out. I've really liked him. I want to see him going against SEC talent. What is a receiver, one or two receivers that have really stood out for you the first couple games?
Yeah, I mean, Sharp is but I don't think this is a game that you're going to limit it to one. I think they're going to spread it around. And I can remember Gus Malzahn going and playing a great Jinx defense, and they had two great cornerbacks, and Gus had three receivers, two wideouts and a tight end. And they just looked out there and said, I'm not going to go after that guy or that guy, but this guy is going to be open. He might be our third best. And I think sometimes that's what Petrino does. It may not be going to a guy. If he's got the balance that I think he does this year in the receivers, it's where's the weak link in the secondary? And maybe he's matched up with my third best, but my third best is better than that weak link. And I think that's what's going to happen Saturday night.
Clay, let's leave it there for right now, and then we'll give you a call in about an hour and get some last thoughts on this game and the rest of the weekend, okay?
Okay, y'all sell that stuff out of that tent now. Get it all gone.
Clay, if I had your type of money, I'd burn mine and I'd buy everything in this store.
I hear you. All right, guys.
Clay Henry, Hall of Fame sports writer, with us in about an hour on halftime. And if you want to get with us, we'll open up the Lewis Automotive Hotline, 877-377-6963. Back with more halftime in a moment.
Man, you know I'm good when I get to talk to you and Matt, Phil. That's just the way it rolls.
This is halftime.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Kind of like, well, what are you going to wear? And I was kind of looked at Clay. I was like, kind of what Clay has on right now.
This is halftime.
The spring allergy and hay fever seasons are here, and Law's Drugstore has what you need to safely take care of you and your family. Law's Drugstore can fill and refill your prescriptions, and they have all of the over-the-counter allergy remedies to provide comfort. Call 452-6116 and ask about vaccine shot appointment for shingles, pneumonia, COVID, and whooping cough. Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind the Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Hey everybody, Zachary Hall here, otherwise known as the Arkansas Storm Tracker. If you have not stopped by the Jam Mart in Fort Smith on Phoenix Avenue, you're missing out. They have a brand new hot case in there. They serve breakfast, they serve lunch, they serve dinner. My personal favorite is the chicken strips and potato wedges. They also serve cheeseburgers as well. They have all sorts of options that you don't want to miss. Be sure to stop by and see your local Jam Mart, Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith today. Jam Mart, the leading gas station and convenience store in Arkansas.
Fill her up, please. Mustard or ketchup?
This is Rick Bennett, Director of Fort Smith Animal Haven. For all of our heating, air, and plumbing needs, we dial 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
That's Blaylock Heating and Air Conditioning for all of your heating, cooling, plumbing, and drain cleaning needs and great York Home products. It's just one number you need to know, 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
At Wave Rural Connect, our mission is to improve the quality of life in our communities. Across the River Valley of Arkansas and Oklahoma, residents and businesses are experiencing the difference of our high-speed internet. Wave Rural Connect Internet provides a reliable residential connection for streaming, gaming, remote work, and homeschooling. Our business solutions provide the speed, stability, and security that you need, whether you're a mom-and-pop flower shop or large business. Check availability online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 833-492-8372.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird Real Estate Group has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at limbirdteam.com. LIMBIRD.
Are you an electrician that's looking for a smaller, non-corporate job? Well, I'm here in studio with Sloan Walker of Sloan Electric, starting 40, 45 hours a week, anywhere from $20 to $28 an hour, depending on the experience.
Yeah, that's all correct. We offer competitive pay. We have 6 paid major holidays. I'm working on some other benefits to go with those for my current employees and future employees. Best way to get in contact with me is just give me a phone call or text at 479-461-4302. Sloan Electric. We can power up together.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
California.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Carl in Fayetteville asked if I was seeing family in Forest City. No. Those the folks here at KBFC and KXJK are practically like family since they've been letting me do a show here for parts of the last 3 years. This is how it goes. If you open up your home or place of business to somebody 3 years in a row, well, then you're practically family. So, yes, thank you very much. 877-377-6963, Lewis Automotive Hotline. So we had a question earlier in the show from Jesse about. You see this situation, Matt, with the Clippers that Pablo Torre has uncovered with Kawhi Leonard? It's kind of crazy. He wondered if this is the kind of thing that happens a lot in professional sports. And I guess when you uncover it happening once, that probably isn't the only time that something like this has happened to circumvent a salary cap.
Kawhi Leonard, that title they won in Toronto. There was he won one in San Antonio too. There was about a 6-year window when he was healthy. Phil, he was the best two-way player in the game. LeBron was kind of on the downcline. LeBron's still a G. Don't get me wrong, and not saying that, but as far as both sides of the ball, D up, play offense, play defense, complete player. Kawhi Leonard had about a 5-year window where he was the best in the game at what he did. He wasn't Kevin Durant, like the best scorer. He wasn't Kobe Bryant. There's certain people that were better at him at certain things, but when you're taking it all into account of what can he do about everything, Kawhi Leonard had about a 5-year. So it's no surprise, is what I'm trying to say. He was the one of the best basketball players on the planet for a couple years.
But I just wondered, it's not going to be worth it once the punishment comes down from the NBA office. I'd forgotten about this, but I was reading. You remember that the Minnesota Timberwolves were docked 5 first-round picks for the situation with Joe Smith. You remember Joe Smith?
Yeah, he was number 1 overall pick by the Golden State Warriors.
Standing out of Maryland, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the free agent signing over to Minnesota. I don't remember all of the details around it, but it dealt with circumvention of the salary cap, and it was 5 first-round picks and eventually turned into 3 first-round picks, but they didn't get anything. They didn't get anything for those picks, and that kind of hamstrung the franchise for quite a while. And it's not like the T-Wolves ever really got anywhere with Joe Smith anyway. The Clippers haven't even made an NBA Finals with Kawhi. So, what is it you get for your investment? Well, if your investment actually was an investment in some other company that was losing money and charging a little bit of a premium so that you could funnel your extra salary payments through their company, that's what was going on here too. You're paying him. I don't know, like the dollar figures are, but I was reading that there's a friend of Ballmer made a $1.99 million investment in this aspiration company, and that was in order to make about a $1.7 million payment to Kawhi Leonard in order to make the payment to him. So this company wasn't making any money other than essentially the premium they were charging Ballmer and his people to funnel money through that company. It's amazing, but we'd have to be like naive to think that something like this wouldn't be happening in some other sport.
I think it's more prevalent in college, especially before the NIL. I think that's how you could get people to get money certain ways. If it was to a parent, if it was to a relative, there's certain ways to go about it. I think that was a little more prevalent. My thing is, what does it matter? What is it? You paid a guy a no-show job to. He's Kawhi Leonard. Like he is one of the best basketball players on the planet. I don't get what is really at fault, because he was making his salary, he's getting what he gets, and then he's getting an extra money from somebody else because they're friends of the family.
He's getting money to not do anything. So what it is it's money from the owner of the Clippers that he's funneling through another company in order to essentially pay added salary to Leonard that has nothing to do with this endorsement contract that he'd signed. Leonard made no statements on behalf of the company, no social media posts, not one, never brought them up in interviews that he went out and did, made no appearances on their behalf. So he was not paid to be a spokesman of this company in the way that Robert Downey Jr. was. Robert Downey Jr. did go out and make statements and social media posts and videos on behalf of this company, as well as some other celebrities did. But Leonard, who was paid more than anybody else, I think he was the number one expense for the entire company, never did a thing, not one thing, and under contract. I mean, I don't think it was expected that he was going to. So what this is I mean, it's the same idea as, I know what you're saying. It's like if you're an athlete and you sign an endorsement contract, well, then what's the problem? It's an endorsement contract to endorse a company or a product, and that's separate from what you're doing on the basketball court or the football field or whatever. But what if the owner of your team is making fake investments into that company, and then the guy's not asked to do anything. It's literally nothing for it. So what it is it's not illegal like in the eyes of the federal government, I think, but it certainly is illegal in the eyes of the NBA and the bargaining, the collective bargaining that we talk about has to happen in college sports at some point. What makes it illegal in college sports, or I guess what used to make it illegal in college sports, is whatever the NCAA would deem was illegal. In this case, it's illegal because the players' union and the ownership agreed upon this being illegal for the salary cap. So I think I think the Clippers are going to end up getting much more than just a slap on the wrist here. I think Stern tried to make an example of the T-Wolves, and I wonder if a different commissioner in Adam Silver would do the same with the Los Angeles Clippers. I'm not exactly sure what it is, other than you avoid a contract, you avoid draft picks, or what?
Well, it's interesting, LeBron James in Clutch Sports, being an agency and him being kind of the leader of that, that's kind of fingers in pies right there too. If you're saying that something that doesn't seem right, that to me seems more fraudulent, seems more kind of sticky.
It's your hand in both ends of the till, isn't it?
Right, exactly.
Well, and I wonder how that you got to read the fine print of the Players Association and everything, but it's just amazing, because this is the kind of thing that you think is happening on every college campus, that everybody's that's the whole idea of this College Sports Commission, which has had some of their teeth shaved down, a little bit defanged. That's the exact reason why the College Sports Commission was created. This Deloitte and Touche clearinghouse to clear the NIL deals was to ensure that this kind of thing wasn't going to happen. And it ends up taking a pretty dedicated journalist in Pablo Torre to expose the situation in the NBA with literally the richest man in sports. That is what Steve Ballmer is. Mm-hmm. He is the richest man in sports. I don't think there's a richer owner in the
Paul Allen, maybe. Probably close.
Is he alive though?
Trailblazers.
I think he died. I think he passed on.
Oh, yeah, that's me. Let me put some money in the fine jar.
I don't want to kill anybody before they're dead. You know what I mean? I don't want to. There's no reason to. Yeah, he did. He passed. Passed a few years ago. So I think Ballmer's the one guy. That's right. Allen owned the Seahawks and the Trailblazers, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Quite an ownership there.
His mega yacht they showed one of his 187 foot. I don't know if that's big or small. I mean I know it's whatever his yacht was when you saw it. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Sterling is on the Lewis Automotive Hotline. Sterling, what's going on? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. And y'all talking about Kawhi. The main deal is it ain't so much. If this was somebody else, let's say if Matt owned the company and was paying him and he had no ties with Ballmer at all and he wanted to pay him for no work, that would be okay because he's not involved with the Clippers at all. Ballmer being involved with the Clippers, even if he was doing ads or actually doing work, it still would be a problem because you kind of like paying him for that. So you won't have to pay him so much to count on the salary cap. Like I said, it's supplementing the cap altogether. So it's kind of like if Jerry was going to pay Dak $10 million for this, and then $50 million for this to offset the cap. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Sterling, let me ask you something. So I get your point. Did Kawhi take a pay cut though to help them get under the cap, or did he take a max contract? That would be kind of one of my next questions.
He took a max. He got a max contract with the Clippers. And he getting,
so then it doesn't help him. He's just giving him more money. It would be different if he would have said, hey, I want you to take 30% less, and then we're going to make it up to you in this false company. Instead, he still took the max and then it's like cake and eat it too.
Essentially, max was not enough.
Yeah.
But I mean, but still, you can't do it because it's kind of like betting on yourself in a game. You still playing hard. You ain't throwing the game. But you can't do it. You can't have Ballmer.
That's exactly what it is, Sterling. It's like don't give me the Pete Rose bet on his team. Pete Rose also walked by the sign that said no gambling on baseball in big bold letters every single day he went into the clubhouse. So any owner, any player that's in the NBA that has been around for longer than 1 year Well, they know what's legal and what's not legal according to the collective bargaining agreement, and that's the thing that creates the actual ability to have these two opposite sides act together as one enterprise. And if you don't adhere to those rules, well, what do you have then?
Right, and I think Paul Allen, I think that group sold the Trailblazers as well, so I don't even think he's even ownership of the Trailblazers. His family or group or whoever took over after his passing, I think that's been sold away. But yeah, then like I said, I think he needs to come hard. You know, sometimes you gotta set an example.
You know what
And
I
I
think of too? Because I'm a fan of a team in the Pittsburgh Pirates who won't spend money on anybody, and there is no salary cap in baseball, so it's a different thing. But if I were a Clippers fan, I'd be standing up and saying, "Yes, I got an owner who wants to win. He's going to go spend more money than he's allowed to. Yes, that's right. Go do it, my friend." So, yeah, be a little bit more like Donald Sterling, huh? Not Donald Sterling, not that guy, not him. Yeah, that's the reason that Ballmer actually got the franchise. Yeah, don't be like Donald Sterling, otherwise you're going to be forced to sell your billion-dollar organization.
Yeah, and on the game tomorrow, the more pressing issues out there. I think the Hogs got a good look at this. I think they just take care of the ball. I think Matt talked to it when y'all was talking to Clay. As long as they don't beat themselves, I can take whatever outcome we have. As long as we don't do and I know we're gonna get some penalties. As long as we don't do the foolish penalty, the personal foul penalty, the lack of pre-snap penalties, and take care of the ball. If we do that, I'm willing to take. I ain't gonna be upset how it turns out. But as long as we don't beat ourselves, I think if we don't do that, I think we're gonna be a hard out tomorrow.
You know what that sounds like to me, Sterling?
Have a great day.
Yeah, that sounds like the truth. Thank you very much. 877-377-6963 is the Lewis Automotive Hotline. And we're back to wrap up hour number 2 in just a moment.
Just wanted to call in and tell you guys, looking forward to Razorback baseball. You do a fantastic job, play-by-play.
This is halftime.
Need a new fence but not ready to pay all at once? The Fence Man, serving Fort Smith for over 40 years, offers 18-month financing so you can secure your home or office now and pay over time. Free quotes, custom designs, and the expertise to accomplish what most can't. Call 479-782-3936 or visit thefencemanAR.com. The Fence Man, he ain't afraid of no work.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did. Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you.
Call Ted McAvoy in Van Buren.
Half-price apps and taps are back at Joe's Grill and Cantina every Arkansas game day. Wear your hog gear and get half-price apps and taps at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Enjoy 10-layer dip, chimney paquitos, the ultimate sampler, and Mexican pizza, all half-price during Arkansas games. And all your favorite beers on tap are half-price. Half-price apps and taps during every Arkansas game. Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Do you feel that, Arkansas? The Lotto jackpot is now more than $1 million. Why should you care? Because this $1 million+ prize can only be won in Arkansas. There are 2 Lotto drawings every week, and the jackpot keeps growing until there's a winner. Join the fun and play Lotto today. A $2 ticket could change your life. Get yours in stores today. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Why wait till Monday for your dental emergency? At Valley Urgent Dental, we know your pain cannot wait. Broken tooth, painful infections, sports injuries, we've got you covered. Dr. Kendall Roberts and Dr. Doug Terry are here when you need them most. Call them at 479-235-5655. Valley Urgent Dental is available on weekends when your regular dentist is closed. Valley Urgent Dental at 5505 Uper Lane behind Golden Corral in Fort Smith. Do not wait. Your smile deserves immediate care.
Life is loud, chaotic, hilarious, and occasionally peaceful. Your life fits you, so why settle for life insurance that fits someone else? At Shelter Insurance, our local agents help you design a personal protection plan backed by award-winning customer service. To get started, find an agent at shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call your Shelter Insurance agent, Randy Hughes, in Fort Smith.
Ignorant when it comes to a lot of topics. Thankfully, I listened to my friend's advice on the housing market and called Jeff Marks at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. Jeff made the process smoother than Mama's gravy.
Ty, you got to throw in some homemade biscuits with that gravy and a great local real estate professional to guide you down the right path. One of the keys is knowing what to do and certainly what not to do.
You communicated and were transparent throughout the process.
Ty, like you, anyone can call me, Jeff Marks, at 479-414-1193. For your big decisions, I have simple solutions.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963.
Just gotta bring it to their attention, really. You better see you talking about running your mouth like you know me. You gon' fuck around and chew out and show me, get caught and show me. Why one-on-one you can't hold me if your last name was Hand. Only way you can work me out is stitch my name on your pan. No resident of France, but you swear I'm from Paris. 106 carats. Purpose, trying to convert this. I changed to your change. Sprint a Motorola, no service out of your range. You're out of your range, thinking I'ma shout out your name. You gotta come up with better ways than actors to get your name.
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Wrapping up hour number 2 of halftime, Phil Elson live in Forest City, and Matt Jones is at Gellco Outdoors on South Zero Street in Fort Smith. We've got Richard with us here. Richard, what do we want to highlight here for this segment? What's under the tent that you want to sell right now?
Right now, okay. Well, we've got all kinds of clothing out there, casual hunting clothing. It's all 50% off. We've got a great deal on backpacks and fanny packs. We've got deer blinds. Feeders, we got deer corn, we've got some compound and crossbows out there, $300 to $500 off on Bowtech, Elite, Raven, some Hoyts. We've even got some crossbows that are just starting at $200 under the tent. So, season's not far away now, and it's time for the guys to get in here and start getting ready for the season. Then inside the store, we've got all of our camo clothing. Hunting boots is 20% off. That's on brands like Sitka and First Light, Drake, Non-Typical. We've got the 180-degree see-through ground blinds for $99.99. So there's just duck decoys on sale. We've got all of our ammo on sale, 10% off, so guys could load up on their steel shot, get ready for duck season coming up. So just want to invite everyone out.
Richard, you a crossbow guy?
No, I'm still compound.
Okay. I know you got lots of those too. I had my son with me when I was with you there one time, and we walked all through your shop, and man, he had his eyes just popping right through. He was pretty fired up about those things. Looking forward to.
We've got some.
Well, what else? What else is
got
under
some
there?
Fishing equipment out there too under the tent. Some guys are looking for some rods and reels and stuff. We've got some of that on sale. Some tackle boxes, backpacks and stuff for the fishermen too. Is out on the tent on sale.
That's right. Well, things cool down just a little bit soon. People want to be outdoors, and there's lots to get to under the tent at the big fall tent sale at Gellco Outdoors in Fort Smith on South Zero Street. Matt's out there until 2 o'clock. Richard, as always, thanks so much for having us out today.
All right. Good seeing you. Take care.
Good to see you, too.
Woo Pig Suey.
And, yes, a big fat Woo Pig Suey. No doubt about that. We'll be back with Clay Henry at 1:30 and Neil Atkinson from Bet Saracen at 1:15. Stay with halftime, the golden hour coming up after this.
Harry Robinson Salisol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisol.
Here's to you and yours from the friendly folks at In Good Spirits, your upscale liquor store in Fort Smith. At In Good Spirits, they've got what your taste buds are craving, including flavorful wines from around the world, scrumptious brandies and liqueurs, tempting whiskeys and beers, and fine cigars. Treat yourself to the best as you listen to the game. Check out In Good Spirits, 12100 Highway 71 South, across from Riley Farms in Fort Smith.
Are you tired of loose, uncomfortable dentures or struggling with missing teeth? This is Dr. Charles Liggett with River Valley Smile Center. Dr. Cole Johnson, Dr. Hannah Cave, and myself experience with full arch dental implant solutions. Dentures that are securely attached to implants, giving you a natural looking, confident smile that feels like your own. No more slipping, no more pain, just the freedom to smile, speak, and eat with ease. You like coming to see us, right, Matt?
Who doesn't want to say, I love the way your smile lights up under your eyes? Call 479-646-0706 or visit rivervalleysmiles.com to schedule your consultation today.
World-class trout fishing is the star of the show at Gaston's White River Resort, where a few days away from all the worries and stress will make all right in your world. Gaston's has friendly, experienced guides to help you land your limit. Enjoy your stay at Gaston's in one of their private cottages or reserve a lodge for up to 20 people. Call now and let Gaston's help you plan your next getaway on the White River. 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202. Or learn more at Gastons.com. Gaston's, a first-class time every time.
Dad, the driver looks dirty. You yucky, Daddy.
Hey, don't worry, boys. That's what we do best. At My Dreams Mo Wash, we make homes, businesses, and even big industrial spaces shine like new.
So you can clean houses and big buildings?
That's right. Residential, commercial, or industrial. No job's too big or too small. Call My Dreams Mo Wash today at 479-763-5561 or visit mjmowash.com.
My Junior's Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, plenty of sunshine. A high this afternoon will really heat up all the way into the middle 90s. Mainly clear sky, upper 60s overnight, and then Saturday, sunny skies. A high in the low to mid 90s. Sunday, partly sunny, low to mid 90s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. You're listening to ESPN 95.3.
It depends on where you. By the way, very professional time.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect it. Oh, ask me if I'm all right. Well, can't dominate, and we not doing it.
We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field. Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my hot dog? Let's go, man.
The angles were so bad, we showed them at halftime.
That ain't but one Razorback.
Like, what in the world were we thinking?
It's vintage Matt Jones.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
And we've made it to 101 on a Friday. It is our golden hour, and time to let it all out. It's good to be back with you here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Phil Elson in Forest City, Arkansas. Thanks to the folks at KXJK and KBFC for providing a spot for me to do the show today for, I think this is 3 years in a row, because 2 years ago played the football game at Ole Miss. Last year, oh man, Matt, when they saw me last year, they saw me in a really bad state for baseball.
You couldn't walk then, huh?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. They saw me They saw me on day one of gout. Ugh, that was awful. That was awful. It's a good thing I don't have the cane with me today. I would have. I think I purchased the cane after I left here, on my way. And there's a Walgreens drugstore that's kind of still not. It's not in Tennessee, but it's maybe a few miles from right here. Bought that cane there. Took it to Oxford. And, yeah, the last time I was in Oxford, Matt, I don't know if I want to really remember what it felt like, but I had one good foot. It was that kind of thing where if the sheet hit my toe, it felt like a hammer hitting my toe.
Did they take care of Bubba last year? Because I think Bubba had some troubles in Forest City, right? Getting down there. Was it last year during the baseball game?
That's right. No, it was on the way to Hoover for the SEC tournament.
Oh, okay.
That's right. I forget the name of the GMC dealership that not only Matt did they fashion him with a dealer vehicle in order to make it to the tournament, but they let him keep it for 2 weeks while the dealership worked on the lemon laws with with the automobile manufacturer, because Bubba just purchased the car like 2 weeks before, and then it breaks down and dies.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not the best memories of at least like traveling to Ole Miss, but at least, the last time I was there, the baseball team got a series win with a big comeback against the Rebels in the 9th inning in the final game. So, it's the thing about Arkansas baseball compared to Ole Miss baseball is that Arkansas baseball is in a better place. I know the Rebels have the national title from, 4 years ago? But, they've just gotten to the place where they made it back into the NCAA tournament. Ole Miss football right now is in a place where I don't know if they've been here in a long, long time. Even under Hugh Freeze, it didn't last quite as long as I think the situation with Kiffin has. And, it's I think his ex-wife, the daughters, they've all moved to Oxford. I think initially, and really for the first maybe 3 years, it was just Coach Kiffin there. That was it. But all this wonder about, well, how long he's going to stay there and everything. I mean, with the issues going on in Alabama right now, Matt, I mean, it's a legitimate thing to wonder.
I didn't even think of that. Do you think? I mean, well, and Boca Raton or Oxford, I can tell you where I'd live right now, but. If you're talking about Lane Kiffin going to Alabama as a head coach, wasn't even on. I didn't even think he would be on the top 3, top 4, top 5 list. Did he even get looked at? Because wasn't it Mike Norvell was the big name that they wanted, and he kind of turned him down, so to speak. And then they end up going with Kalen DeBoer, who had never been a Division I football coach before. So they tried to think, I think, a little bit outside the box. Would be very, very, very interesting if Alabama went and got Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, I mean, like projecting to something that might or might not happen 2 or 3 months from now, but I think they would take the biggest swing that they possibly can. I mean, really, I think in their eyes, you'd be thinking of trying to go after Sark, but Texas has the money to keep him there, and I don't think he would leave. What
about the Oregon coach? You think Dwayne Aldman, or I'm sorry, Lanning? Getting over into the SEC, I think that might be an interesting hire.
See, now that would be really interesting too, because like Oregon, you have all of the resources that you need right there, and you're never gonna need any. You're always gonna have what it is that you need there. They've made the transition into the Big Ten fairly well. I think Lanning would be a good fit there because he's a defensive guy. He's got experience and success as a coordinator in the SEC, and that's one thing DeBoer didn't have. You wondered about whether or not somebody ever being in this part of the country, recruiting in this part of the country, coaching in this part of the country has much to do with their amount of success or lack thereof. But it does feel like DeBoer is a little bit of a, I don't know, fish out of water, and Lanning isn't. Lanning wouldn't be. I mean, I think he knows this league really well. Then again, maybe Kiffin loves what he's got going on in Ole Miss. I mean, there's energy there. And it's also, like, that's one of the places, if you consistently at Ole Miss win 9 or 10 games, they'll build a statue. You win 9 or 10 games at Alabama, but you don't win a national championship, there's different expectations for different programs.
Absolutely, yeah. If you're winning 9 games a year, they'll keep you for about 4 years, I think, and then it'll be time to go. You got to win 12, 13 now with the playoff. How much longer do you think we do an SEC championship game? Because that's an extra game for 2 teams that are going to go to the playoffs. Do you see that? And you just added a 9th conference game. Any talk on any talk on canceling that SEC game so that now essentially you're going to have teams playing 10 SEC games, and that conference game is a big time game? Didn't Georgia, was it Georgia 2 years ago had their or was it last year? Had their quarterback get hurt in the SEC championship game.
That's right, Carson Beck. I don't know if there's. I wonder if the idea, because the thing about the conference championship games, I think more than anything, is it's just a moneymaker for the conferences and nothing else, and the networks. If you're able to somehow replace those ratings and the money that goes along with it, then yes, I could see the conference championship games going away. But until then, we're taught that's what matters most here in this industry, in this whole deal, is maximum. Look, that's what the schools are doing, that's what the conferences are doing, and that's what the networks are doing. And not much of it has to do with competition or figuring out what actually makes sense for a championship or having a so no, I don't think those are going away right now because there's too much money in it and people still watch the games until and I think a lot of people, myself included, I think you too, a lot of our listeners don't think that the conference championship games necessarily fit into the time that they're played, the meaning that they used to mean compared to now. I guess it's still a way to ensure that you get your automatic bid into the college football playoff, but the team that's also in that championship game is probably in the playoff too if they finished in second place in their league. So I would love to see those things go away, but in order for that to happen, you probably have to have a whole other layer of playoffs. Some people will say the championship games are playoff. No, they're not. They're not, because the teams that lose those games also mostly made the playoff last year.
Yeah, if you're in the Big Ten and in the SEC, you're exactly right.
We've got a winner.
I guess the ACC did last year too, didn't Clemson and SMU both got in? So there would have been 3 conferences that those teams got in.
I don't have the playoff in front of me, but I don't remember if both Big 12 schools got in.
Nope, Arizona State and Iowa State played, and Arizona State's the only team that got in out of the Big 12.
That was the one.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one. There may end up being one league that the same thing happens this year, but you know what? It won't be. It won't be the SEC. It won't be the Big 10. It'll be either the ACC or the Big 12. We do have a winner for our Fish City Grill trivia question. The question was of the schools that Arkansas plays this year, which all-time series started first? And it was funny because I was looking through the media guide in order to just come up with this question, and they have in the Arkansas football media guide the Tennessee series and the LSU series starting on the very same day, even though we know that that's impossible, because the Tennessee-Arkansas series most definitely did not start on November 22nd, 1901 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That would be a real surprise if the Razorbacks and Volunteers played in Baton Rouge. Interestingly, the LSU series began on November 22nd, 1901 in Baton Rouge, and LSU won that game 15-0. That's the answer. That is the correct answer. The Ole Miss series started in 1908. Hogs played Memphis for the first time in 92. Tennessee in 1907, A&M 1903 in Arlington, Texas. Arkansas and Auburn first met in 1984 in, forget the name of the bowl game, Mississippi State 1916, 1901 for LSU. The first game against Texas was in 06, and that was the same year that Arkansas and Missouri first played. So the answer is LSU. And we do have a winner for our Fish City Grill trivia question. It's Hunter in Rogers. He had the right answer, and he'll get the $25 gift card to Fish City Grill. Meanwhile, we break, and Neil Atkinson from Bet Saracen joins halftime right after this.
I think it's your girlfriend called.
Text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive Group, home of the Lewis Guarantee.
I wanted to find someone who would embrace Arkansas and the opportunities to build on a rich tradition that includes 22 conference titles, 14 Sweet 16 appearances, 11 Elite 8 appearances, 6 Final Fours, and a 1994 NCAA championship.
The head coach of your Arkansas Razorbacks, John Calipari.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Artie's Original Bag is back, now with even more full-size sandwiches. Choose any two. The new spicy chicken sandwich, hot ham and cheese, hand-breaded chicken tender wrap, or charbroiled double cheeseburger. Mix and match any two. With fries and a drink, just $6.99. Why settle for junior burgers? Get big savings on full-size goodness in Hardee's country. Download the app and join my rewards for special offers. These items only, tax not included. Price of participation may vary. See app for terms.
Looking for a career with a company built to last? At Forsgren, we've been shaping the future of the River Valley since 1936. Nearly 90 years of excellence, innovation, and family-driven leadership. From sidewalks that still stand today to major infrastructure projects across the region, our legacy is built on quality and community. Apply now at goforsgren.com. Join the Forsgren legacy, where your work becomes part of something lasting. Forsgren, building the foundation of the River Valley for 4 generations. Apply now at goforsgren.com.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. The future of office printing is here with Xerox's Connect Key technology and cloud connectivity. Xerox offers seamless integration, top-notch security, and unmatched efficiency to help your business stay ahead. Don't miss out. Call us today at 783-6600 and ask about our special offer for a free Xerox color printer with many Xerox models. Dixie Digital Imaging, leading the way in office technology.
Looking for the perfect gift that's personal and powerful? The Solid Rock has you covered. From custom laser-engraved cutting boards and coasters to travel mugs and keepsakes. Each piece is made with care and personalized just for your special occasion. Whether it's a wedding, birthday, anniversary, or just because. They help you give gifts that inspire. Engraved with names, scriptures, or messages that honor Christ. Shop the Solid Rock, located next to Sam's Club on South 74th and Fort Smith. The Solid Rock, serving the River Valley for over 49 years.
Less than 2 seconds left on the clock and no timeouts, Peter. I don't know what they're going to do. Down 3 and way out of field goal range. Truly an unlucky state to be in.
This state has plenty of luck. Last year, 8 Arkansans each won $1 million off a lottery ticket.
State as in a state of being, not... Whoa, touchdown Razorbacks.
This is winning, folks. Every lottery ticket you buy in Arkansas helps fund college scholarships. You could be the next big winner. Call or text 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
At Road Chevrolet in Van Buren, we know Arkansas drivers. Whether it's trucks for back roads, SUV for family life, or cars for Main Street, we've got you covered. Stop by today to check out our great selection of new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Every Chevy here is backed by Rhodes, your hometown dealership built on trust, hard work, and community. Experience the Rhodes difference in Van Buren, where you get the best prices, period.
If the 25th is the silver anniversary and the 50th is gold, what's the 75th? Well, that's the fresh beef, onions, pickles, lettuce, tomatoes, fries, and drink anniversary. Everybody knows that. Get the #1 water meal for $7.50 in honor of our 75th anniversary. A meal like that is the way you're supposed to celebrate a 75th. The Whataburger 75th meal deal. Whataburger, what a deal. For a limited time at participating locations.
Winding your way down on Baker Street, lighting your head and dead on your feet. Well, another crazy day. Take the night away and forget about everything. but it's got no soul and it's taking you so long. You were wrong when you used to think that it was so easy. Used to say that it was so easy. But you're trying now.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Right now on our Lewis Automotive Hotline is Neil Atkinson from BetSarazin, Arkansas's favorite sports betting app. And Neil, we finally have SEC football for the Razorbacks. You had one game last week. It was Ole Miss and Kentucky, so it's finally here. And is there any difference in what the offerings might be between non-conference and SEC games on BetSarazin? Or they are pretty much the same?
There will be a few more prop offerings, because a lot of times when we do props, and if they're playing, that's not a Power 4 conference or maybe an FCS team, you won't see as many of the opposing player props as you would, for an SEC team or a Power 4 team. So what you should see is we've actually changed prop providers and data providers for the college, and you should see a lot more. Now, I don't have the full offerings of the props up this week on the college ball because I tested them last night, found a few things I didn't like, but they will be on for next week's games. We still have all of the props from the previous provider. We're just going to one that covers a little bit more and is a little bit more efficient. Those markets are up, and more importantly, the new provider is giving me a lot more live in-play player prop stats also. Not just in college, but in the NFL. Now, the NFL is fully mapped. It was fully mapped last weekend and last night, and we saw tremendous reception to that. We've got a few more things that we're adding over the next couple of weeks. A couple of them are pretty good, but yeah, there is more when you're playing SEC team versus SEC team, and you'll see a lot more prop offerings. Maybe not as much this week, but next week you'll see even more.
The line's been interesting to follow this week for Arkansas and Ole Miss. How much has it moved?
Well, it came out at 10 was the consensus on with the data providers, and when it first came out, I was like, "What are they doing?" I honestly believe I don't think they updated the data when they released that line when it came out at 10. I had it before Arkansas played Arkansas State and Ole Miss played at Kentucky. I had the line at 7.5 under my modeling, and when I heard about the injury and maybe Ole Miss didn't perform as well and up there in Kentucky, just like they lost to Kentucky the previous year at home. I thought there was a chance, depending on how the injury news would come out, that line could come out at 5.5. Well, it popped out at 10. I go, what are they doing? And within an hour or so, it was bet down to 9.5. A couple of hours after that, it was at the 8.5. And then Wednesday, it went to 7.5. And then when all of the national books, and we do it also, we don't open up our full liability for any one market until usually on pros 48 hours before the game, college is 24, but in the sense of competitiveness and everybody wants to take the action and all that, that's kind of stretching out a little bit. But we don't open up where we'll take the big money and the full liability that we usually would take on a game until then. And what happened is yesterday when the books and they call them the smart money or the big bettors or the ones that are known for being very astute at their sports betting. We look at see where they put their money and we factor that in, especially if it's somebody that's had a good run or they're analyzing the games pretty good, and we'll adjust accordingly. And of course, we'll adjust on how the masses are putting their money. And from the get-go, I mean, people just started pounding Arkansas plus those lines, and they've bet it down all the way down to 6. And that's just not here in Arkansas where we have traditional local bias for the Hogs. that happened nationwide, and some big money came in on the Hogs, and that's why that line dropped. And they think all the analysis in the initial line that we put out was wrong. I do too, but it's hard for me not to go with the consensus line, and I always want to give my players the best value that I can give them, especially on the Arkansas line.
So it's pretty heavy vulnerability on Arkansas, not just for you, but really nationwide. Maybe the biggest vulnerability in the country.
It's one of them because of the way the way this particular market done. And look, I was looking at how much money that we have on the game on a Thursday for a Saturday game, and I'm like, wow, that's way up there.
Huh.
And the amount that we have on the game is usually about double what we have at this time. And the nervous thing for me is that with Arkansas being the 6 p.m. game, I kind of like it when Arkansas is the early game. Now, usually we're the later game when they're performing better and they're in bigger games. So that usually overall, if they're always getting the early game, they may not be a good thing as far as how the season's going. But from a bookmaker's perspective, if Arkansas is the early game and they win outright, or they cover a spread, or they're the dog and they win, I pay it out early, and my players have all day to kind of put the money back in circulation and play it back. When Arkansas is that last game, 6 o'clock game, and I know there's some more after that, but when Arkansas is a 6 o'clock game, I'm going to have a lot of parlay run-up liability, especially depending on how the earlier games go. And people that win will double up and put some more money on the Hogs if that's what they're leaning. And it usually is a make or break day for me when Arkansas is the night game. So yeah, I'll have a nail biter, and it's so hard because I don't like Ole Miss. I'm not an Ole Miss fan, and I was in my Arkansas red at the Arkansas State game last week and had a lot of fun. I want Arkansas to win because when they do well, the book does well. But on this particular game, the liability is going to be a nail biter on me. But, of course, if Arkansas wins outright and we pay it out, I won't have a lot of sympathy for my players. But they will be happy, and hopefully they come back Sunday and take another shot at it.
I hadn't thought about the differences in sports betting habits for Razorback fans, and really that's probably the same for all college football fans, depending upon what time their game is. So do you have do you take a side over what time of the day you'd rather have a game start, honestly? Because when you think of fans, everybody wants a night start at home always, but maybe the gambler thinks a little bit differently.
Well, the gambler likes it as a later game. They like it. They like it as a later game because the reason is that they've already they'll bet the later games depending on whether or not they won or lost earlier in the day. If they've had a rough day, they will either double up trying to get even, or if they've had a good day, they're reinvesting that money per se into the later game. So most bettors do like the bigger games at night because they're already seeing how their day is going. Has their early parlays hit? If they still got one or two games left in their parlay, they're still live. That's when they can hedge their bet. When the big game is the first game, they don't have anything to hedge because the later in the day those parlays have it come in and they don't know where they're sitting. So the big games, the bettors like them at night also from that perspective.
Yes.
The bookmaker, when you have local bias, I like it early, but the players want it at night. And of course, we have nothing to do with the scheduling. That's just a little nuance from the bookmaker's perspective.
Neil has sent me a list today of 8 games in college football this weekend where the line moved at least 3.5 points. Some of these lines moved as many as 6 points. The Missouri-Louisiana game moved from Missouri favored by 21 to 27. Temple was plus 28. They're now plus 22. So, that's just massive movement. It's different game to game, but is that normal movement early in a season of today's day and age of college football?
Absolutely, because to be honest with you, for the consensus lines that come out, they're using more and more computer modeling, and what they're doing is that they're putting the lines out based on the pure modeling, and then they're taking the bets to see where it moves the markets. And the other thing is that the players have gotten more sophisticated. They have access to modeling. They have access to websites that do the same simulations, very similar to what we do. Now, we like to think our models are a little bit more sophisticated because we bring all of the data in, and we have official data sources and things of that nature. And our models have been trained over the last several years. But now in the marketplace is that there's modeling out there and sites that you can go to. Some of them subscription-based, some of them are not. And people are making educated decisions based because on implied probability of where we set a line and then what the simulations are doing. And always at the very beginning of the year, we don't have our models dialed in. You know, for instance, you know, the first week of the NFL and usually the first week in the college football, we usually don't do that well unless there's some unforeseen upsets. And then as we get the data in there and we know from who the transfer portal, they start getting stats against different levels of competition, then it will all start even out and we get dialed in. It takes us in college 3 weeks to get dialed in on the lines to where we're more efficient. And on the NFL, usually the second week we get dialed in a lot better, and it's always the third week we get dialed in. And you'll see not as many variances in the lines and the outcomes of the games because the more data you have, the better decisions that it makes. But at the end of the day, it's all on how a human performs on the field, and it is a game of inches. And if you were watching football on NFL on Sunday, the early games, if you had red zone or if you had multi-channels, you had 4 games come down to the last series, last plays to determine the outcome. And it was pretty exciting, especially if you were a player, because from my perspective, all 4 of them went the wrong way. So it's fun to watch sometimes, but then again, when you look at the numbers the next morning, you're like, oops, we got some making up to do. But, hey, that's all about sports betting.
So NFL started. You had your survivor pool last week. I'm sure plenty of people were eliminated, but you can't.
Well, not so much.
Really?
Not so much because I have some. Yeah, not so much because people did pretty good. And last week the most bet team was the Denver Broncos to beat the Tennessee Titans. And of course that went down to the last series. Titans had a chance to do it up, so there was no guarantees. And the second most bet team was Arizona Cardinals against against the New Orleans Saints last week were the 2 biggest ones. This week, by far, the number 1 selected team to win this week are the Baltimore Ravens against the Browns, and then number 2, and this is probably a little bit of the local bias, Dallas Cowboys to beat the Giants is the number 2 selection, and Arizona is the 3rd selection this week. So. But just remember, once you pick a team to win, and if you're in that survivor pool, you're one and done. If they lose, you're out, and if they win, you cannot select them again. So this week's the most popular, like I said, are the Ravens, followed by the Cowboys, then the Cardinals, and then right after that, you've got the 49ers. And we had 43 people pick Green Bay the other night. So those are already locked in and moving on to next week.
Neil Atkinson is the Senior Director of Bet Saracen Sportsbook Operations and joins us every Friday on Halftime. Neil, always appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
All right, everybody, good luck on all your parlays. And when you log into the app, just remind you, check that promo tab. We've got some great promos this week. I'm not going to talk about them because I want you to go to the app and look at them and make your selections and check out all the props. And good luck, everybody, and bet with your head and not over it. Keep it fun and entertaining. And can't wait to see how Arkansas does against Ole Miss. My boss is not around, so I'm going to say go Hogs. But then again, I may have to have some Rolaids later on Saturday night, and I don't mind. I've already pre-ordered them.
You can download Bet Saracen for your iPhone from the App Store. Android users go to Google Play. Any web browser works too. BetSaracen.com. I see some football specials here for the Hogs and Ole Miss. Plus 165 for 4 touchdowns to be scored in each half. Here's an interesting one. You'd have both teams score 35 or more points as plus 500. That's something to think about because there may be more than 35 points for both teams. Pardon me. We're in the home stretch. 877-377-6963 to join us on halftime, and we'll have Clay Henry back with us right after this break.
This is halftime.
At the Bet Saracen Sportsbook app, we realize lots of you have thought about opening an account, but you just haven't made that move yet. Well, now's the time with our new player offer. It's easy. You just sign up, use the code WELCOME, deposit at least $25, place a $25 bet, and that's it. Once that bet settles, you'll have $125 in free bets ready to go. Bet Saracen, the most popular sportsbook app in the state. Download it today on all your devices. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This college football moment is brought to you by ServPro.
College football teams have moments they recovered from and made it like it never even happened. Like on September 24, 2016, when Tulsa found themselves down 31-0 to Fresno State. With 10 minutes left in the second quarter, Tulsa fought back to tie the game at 41. And then won 48-41 in double overtime.
ServPro, like it never even happened.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Hey, Ty Richardson. We're here at Shangri-La Resort, Mount Ida, Arkansas, here with my buddy Phil Carr. Phil, it's football season. I know you're hustling and bustling. You're trying to watch games. You're trying to keep up here. Man, this really is the perfect time to come see us at Shangri-La, isn't it?
Oh, it's a great time. The lake's not quite as busy. We're still open 7 days a week.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Man, this takes me back to the 2000s.
All your Y2K favorites are back for only $3 or less. Only at Taco Bell.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget. Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level. And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge. And when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story. Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
Does your Razorback closet need an upgrade? The University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you're looking for, only at Roback.com. They've custom designed the best hoodies, polos, and Q-zips for your school. Go check out this and more at Roback.com, and don't forget to use our link for 20% off. Use code RUSH25 at checkout on Roback.com for 20% off your first order. That's RHOBACK.com. 20% off all hoodies, joggers, and more with Rush 25. Roback, where action meets comfort.
Get 20% off on your first order with the code RUSH25.
You don't always win your first bet. That's why MyBookie has you covered. Use our code HOGS, H-O-G-S, and your first bet up to $500 is fully covered. If your pick doesn't hit, you get it right back with our Bet Back bonus. Go to mybookie.ag and use the code HOGS to claim your Bet Back bonus. MyBookie's, where bettors win together, because bragging's good, but cashing in is better. And your first bet is fully covered. Use our code HOGS.
Got a little jingle.
Dad, the driver looks dirty.
Ew, yucky, Daddy.
Hey, don't worry, boys. That's what we do best. At Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, we make homes, businesses, and even big industrial spaces shine like new.
So you can clean houses and big buildings?
That's right. Residential, commercial, or industrial. No job's too big or too small. Call Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash today at 479-763-5561 or visit mjmowash.com.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend, Matt Jones.
Back on the Lewis Automotive Hotline with us, Clay Henry is back here again. Clay, I got a text from Clay earlier. You met with Cam Kozel?
Yeah, I delivered some fly fishing stuff, and we got a thing.
You do have a thing, I know.
He needs stuff, and I can provide it. I'm going out to the scrimmage here in a little bit.
Yeah, we had DVH on yesterday's show, and the question I forgot to ask him was
to Steve Ballmer, though, for Y. Leonard. That might be some stuff, a no-show type.
That's not
getting
no-show,
gifts.
though.
Oh,
no.
okay,
It's a show job.
I had to check.
It is a show job, but I forgot to ask Dave if this team is as much into fishing as last year's team, because if they are,
they are.
well, yeah, they hope they are. If Cam's on the team, they better be ready for it.
Well, you got Souza and Steele Eads. Those guys, they're they've got a group that likes to fish. There's no doubt. And then there's some, like, I don't think Gackle could care less about it. I don't think Helfrich could care less. I don't know if you watched any of his podcasts, but they had 5 or 6 guys that were going to fish. And they went by, I guess they all live in an apartment complex that has a swimming pool. And Helfrich and Gackle, and so they were all, out at the pool. Of course, there's a common denominator with pools. There's usually ladies, right? And
so I'm told.
So they did some of the interview for the podcast of those guys laying poolside. And, ask them some of their favorite memories and if any of them like to fish, and they're like, no.
Nah, not my thing.
So, yeah.
That's funny, because when you have guys on traveler teams, you would have a group of guys that were golfers and would go golfing together, but that's the only thing they would talk about sometimes. Then you had the hunters, and all the hunters, like there were 6 or 7 of them, and they were all, I drove them to Bass Pro in Springfield once, and they treated it like it was a trip to Disneyland, and they would all talk about, what they're going to do in the off season and the buck that they've been, drooling over, basically. And then you get the guys who like to talk about this or that, but you never know what's going to really fire guys up about something. But then usually the other guys are going to say, "I'm sick of hearing about that." I never quite heard that with the fishing for last year with the baseball team, because they all seem to celebrate it when they won the Super Regional anyway.
Yeah, then to think that these guys are the first baseball players that like fishing and hunting is kind of silly. We just never have written about it that much. But it's like I did an interview with Bill Bakewell this year. It was, pitcher on the 79 team with the College World Series. He said he and Scott Tabor went fishing in Omaha every single day. They were there for 2.5 weeks. They went to the final game. And so it's like, okay, you just kind of forget about it. And Tabor told me that when they got their bid, an at-large bid in 79, that most of the team was out at Bob Kidd Lake, which I guess is out by Farmington or something. I'm not sure exactly where Bob Kidd Lake is, but they were all out there fishing. Of course, there's no cell phones. They weren't even aware that they'd gotten the bid. Came back in. It was only 32 bids and not very many at-large, so it's not that was not a routine thing to get an at-large bid back in those days. the conference champions, then just a handful of at-large bids. They say that the 78 team might have been as good, but they didn't get a bid. But anyway, these guys duck hunting and fishing, and it just kind of goes together. Which is it's interesting. James McCann came here. He never hunted or fished. He grew up in Santa Barbara, California. So this is like a whole new world for some of these guys, and I mean they fall in love with it. And I think that it's a recruiting tool, not necessarily, Lake Norm, but just the outdoors that we have in the natural state for these baseball players. It's not just Cam and these guys. There's lots of cool things to participate in and these guys, they have their free time. I think they're diligent in their workouts, but they don't work out 24/7.
Let's move over to this Ole Miss football game here, just to kind of get final thoughts on it too here.
Yes, sir.
One thing I'm really excited about is the idea that under Bobby Petrino, a second-year quarterback, second year in the offense, you're going to see him explode. We've seen Talon explode in these first two games, but now we'll believe what we see more than anything. And I get a sense that I think Talon's going to play a really great game, and I think the idea of revenge, if you're looking on the offensive side, there's only a few guys on that side that I think in the back of their mind are even worried about revenge. Maybe I'm sure that's not really what Talon's worried about, but it was a miserable game for Talon Green last year.
I think you're right about that. I think that they probably talked about this for a while, and I think the coaching staff, Travis Williams, I think this is a big game for him. I mean, he didn't like what happened in that game, the way they were exploited. And there's nothing worse than when a game's out of hand and the other team trots somebody back out there to break a record. You remember that. Mm-hmm. You never forget it. And Dart's out there laughing. You'd like to go after him, but I think he just threw a little hot read that, was out of his hand to get that record. And Kiffin, he called that play. As far as, and you say, well, does that show class? It probably doesn't, but it's on you to stop it. When somebody runs up the score on you, it's on you. It's not. You can't say that's unsportsmanlike. It's like, no, you stop them.
Clay, we're just getting now to conference play. There's only been one conference game. I mean, we're in its infancy as far as how this season's going to go. I looked at some SEC power rankings, and it had Ole Miss 3. It had Arkansas 14. I think it's somewhere closer in the middle. I think Ole Miss is probably closer to about 6 or 7, and I think Arkansas is closer to about 9 or 10. How do you see? What do you see the rankings going? And then give me a % chance that you think these Razorbacks can beat the Rebels on Saturday.
Well, I've watched a lot of games, and I think Florida is the team that has really stumped their toe the most. Where you think, well, they're not what we thought they were. And I don't know really how we could know. The parts are so different. There's so much change. And, I mentioned to you that I sat with NFL scouts at the game Saturday, and I mentioned to a guy from Jacksonville Jaguars that we're on the sidelines of the two teams, there are 131 different players. And it's just incredible, the turnover. So I don't know how you can make I can just tell you, I can't tell you what the rankings should be. That there's so much opportunity for things being different than you think. I think preseason rankings mean so little right now because of the turnover in rosters that is just significant. You have, in the old days, if you were weak in an area, you go out and you might get a junior college players, but basically you're bringing in freshmen, and it would take you a while to really impact, a different vibe for the team. I mean, you just looked about what Prime did, Deion Sanders did at Colorado from one year to the next, because he just turned over the roster. I mean, they were awful, and then all at once they're decent, maybe even good in some people's eyes. So is this Arkansas team, did they do that? Did they fix some of their weaknesses? Their offensive line has been awful for the last, really, going back to the team that Chad Morris inherited. It just hasn't got fixed. It's just been, I guess there was 1 year, the 9-4 year, that offensive line, but then there was turnover. And I know that Sam has mentioned, and we do not have numbers of what they spent on NIL for offensive line play, but it was a bunch, apparently. I mean, some of them that they paid, a significant price tag to are backups. They haven't, like Shaq McRoy. I don't think he came free. So they have turned over the offensive line to a point where I think it's decent, might be actually good. There were 3 offensive linemen on the sheet of paper that the guy sitting next to me was grading for Arkansas that they think might be in NFL camp next year. May not be drafted, but might get to come to a camp. And I'm talking about the left tackle, the left guard, the center. And he was interested in how they played. They played pretty good. Corey Robinson, I think, is a really good player. We'll find out a lot more about that this week. How do they hold up against this defensive front? I think this is a huge game for the momentum of Arkansas season. The idea that they might win the game, I don't think you would, 12 months ago when they rolled up that number against Arkansas, you wouldn't even entertain that Arkansas could play with Ole Miss today. But their roster is so different, and Ole Miss's roster is different. So back to your question, I don't know where they should fit in the power rankings. I know if you didn't fix what was wrong with your team from the portal in the last 6 months, you weren't trying, because you were given $20 million more than you had the previous year to go do it. And I think that enabled Sam Pittman to really change his roster in a way. We'll see how good they evaluate it. The players that they brought in. I think they like the guys that they brought in. So far, they really hadn't been hit in the mouth, so you don't really know.
They will be tomorrow.
Always say, what's it like when you taste your own blood? How do you react? And we'll find out tomorrow night.
Clay, we got to run right up against the break. Appreciate your
Enjoy
time.
it, guys. Thank you all for having me.
You got it. Have a good trip next week. Send it to Utah so we won't have Clay with us next week. Meanwhile, we're back to wrap up halftime for the week right after this.
I was just calling to tell you, Phil, what a pleasure it was to listen to you with the baseball game.
This is halftime.
Harry Robinson Salisol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisol.
It's the all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet at Golden Corral. Enjoy the endless breakfast buffet with carved ham, tender pork chops, pancakes, French toast, made-to-order eggs and omelets, and, of course, the biscuits and gravy. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. And from 8 to 9:30, seniors get all this and a drink for $10.29. Golden Corral, 1801 South Waldron, Fort Smith. Order online at goldencorral.com for curbside pickup or delivery. Golden Corral, the only one for everyone.
We all make plans for the future, like car accidents, break-ins, and unexpected fires can disrupt those plans. At Shelter Insurance, our agents help design insurance plans that work for you and help protect what matters most. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Call Wade Gellco or Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Do you feel that, Arkansas? The Lotto jackpot is now more than $1 million. Why should you care? Because this $1 million+ prize can only be won in Arkansas. There are 2 lotto drawings every week, and the jackpot keeps growing until there's a winner. Join the fun and play Lotto today. A $2 ticket could change your life. Get yours in stores today. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Where can you get good neighbor service and surprisingly great insurance rates? At State Farm, because State Farm agent Heath Roberts is your one-stop shop in the River Valley for the service you deserve at the price you want. So stop looking around. State Farm agent Heath Roberts is ready to help. Call 479-452-4088 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, your Xerox authorized dealer in the River Valley. Xerox is more than just a brand, it's your ultimate business partner. Whether you need high-speed printers, powerful copiers, or seamless cloud solutions, Xerox has the tools to keep your business running smoothly and efficiently. And right now, for a limited time, we're offering a free Xerox color printer with the lease or purchase of many Xerox models. To learn more, call us at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, your partner in business success.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963.
Hollywood bungalow. Are you a lucky little lady in the city of light?
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Well, I made it to the end of a very interesting week, Matt Jones. Should have a really interesting football Saturday, if not maybe a couple of interesting games that are on the docket for tonight. Indiana tested big time by Indiana State in Bloomington, Colgate in Syracuse. Colorado visiting Houston. Might not be a bad game there. K-State at Arizona, New Mexico at UCLA. And maybe Nico might finally have a win with the Bruins. Otherwise, 6 o'clock tomorrow, kickoff in Oxford. All of our ESPN programming begins at 1 o'clock in the afternoon with Arkansas Game Day. Learfield pregame with me and Rick and Gino is 3. And then you're on Hog Reaction tomorrow night, right?
I think it's the units and myself. Yeah,
wow.
We'll be up, have a cup of tea and be up past my bedtime. So
well, you guys
yeah,
give me
forward to it.
You guys give me a call during Hog Reaction tomorrow because I'll be on the way back from Oxford, and I'm sure I'll have some.
There we go.
Something to say about the game, and then maybe we can actually assign Seaburger his homework for the weekend because we never got to it this week, and I don't think we have time for it. So we can extend the show. We can extend halftime into Hog Reaction by maybe like 30 minutes for tomorrow. He sounds sheepish back there, doesn't he?
We've talked about, me and Matt have talked about my halftime homework during Hog Reaction. So
okay, all right. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll get it figured out, and maybe the outcome of the game will have something to do with it. Matt's going to be a great game. I think I'm going to give Arkansas 50% chance to win this game. I'm making no predictions, but 50% chance to win is going to be a great game. 100% great game. What do you think? I don't know if he thinks. All right, I think Matt went. That's it. That's halftime for this Friday. That's halftime for this week. Eastside Liquor halftime podcast ready to go in just a moment. Ruskin and Zach are ready to go too, and then we'll be back with you on Monday. Thanks for listening to Halftime today. For Matt and Christian, I'm Phil. Get up, get out, and get better.